one was pretty
Oh,
damn
that was a
Oh,
rush
that
job.
was-
That was a rush job animation right there.
Dude, that was
good. That
great.
was good. That was great.
That was
Love it.
awesome. I loved it.
But Murray caught on to the, yeah, he passed out from exhaustion from running so fast.
Yeah. Hey, that's saying a
Oh.
lot, Murray. You outran that spear. It couldn't
Yeah,
catch
well,
up
at
to
least
you.
for a
You
little
passed
while.
out.
You
No.
did.
And in the
That's
words
why-
of Mike, those spears can move like a mother.
Yeah. Dude, I want one of those spears in
Mother.
the house, you know.
I do too,
Hang
man. They're
it from the
expensive.
ceiling or something. I'm surprised they've never sold them, you know, like
Oh, I have. You can get them.
Actually, I do have some stuff right here that I was going to show you. It came right here in a box that you could get that actually held the DVDs and Blu-rays.
But the only thing, that is only overseas. Those are only overseas discs. They didn't sell those in America on those.
I wonder if Grandpa has something like that over there.
I have.
I was going to ask that.
The
if he had
remastered.
that, yeah.
Blu-rays. And they are awesome.
I have number 2 on DVD. I do not have part 1.
I've got them all.
From all the surgeries I've had, I do have a pair of steel balls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And played with them that hard, did you?
Yeah, if I wiggle, you can hear
it. Oh,
you know, like
you
that,
had to put in because you're a musician. You just done that so you didn't have to have that.
Oh, it's a built-in metronome. Yeah, built-in metronome.
Yeah. A little bit right there, man.
Well, Trav's had his cut on several times too.
Yeah, I wore them out. I had to have them rebuilt.
Yeah, and
mine just looked like one of those little Jawa people, man. You know, like shriveled up and makes weird noises.
Small but heavy.
Yeah, little Jawa nuts.
Oh shoot! Well, I guess we need to do our official introductions to them.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backwoods Horror Show. We got a special show for you tonight. We're reviewing one of my favorites, number 1 from the Phantasm franchise, and really great film. But who else could we get better to introduce Phantasm 1 than the late great Angus Scrimm? If you got that clip, Z.
Oh geez, hang on. Yeah, I said to give you a chance here. Hang on. My Lord.
Yeah.
Ah.
I had Cody's all queued up. All right.
Great intro, Z, though. Great intro, though. I love that new intro.
Right.
And that was just something thrown together. Wow.
That was just thrown together. Yes.
Great job.
I enjoyed that quite thoroughly, actually. And disclaimer to anybody watching, I hope my Tourette's doesn't get out of hand, and I hope I don't say scrim every time anybody says hey, scrim.
Oh, you're good.
So if I get out of hand, just let me know.
All right. Hang on.
Good.
Let me get this all set. Okay, I'm almost ready here, guys. Now, I've been working hard on this for quite a while, so okay.
Oh, I know you have.
All right, so here we go. And let's make this full screen. Here we go, guys. Here we go.
Yep.
Hello. I'm Angus Scrimm. Some time ago, word reached me that a gifted young filmmaker with whom I'd worked previously had a role for me in a new film. I would play an alien, he said, and that was all he was going to tell me about it for the moment. My mind raced with the dramatic possibilities. An eager immigrant from the old country, meeting the struggles, the heartbreaks, but the eventual triumphs in the land of opportunity, America. Would I play an Irishman, a Russian, a Chinese? I'd have to master the appropriate accent. Maybe I'd speak initially in another language. Yo hablo un poquito español. Je parle français un peu. Bon peu de passata, net noi crop. The young filmmaker was Don Coscarelli. And the role he offered me was an alien indeed. a sinister, tall man from another dimension who plundered small-town America's graveyards for dead bodies to be shipped back to his world as slaves. He didn't speak with an accent. About all he ever said was, "Boy." Don Coscarelli wrote, directed, produced, photographed, and edited that film, which was, of course, Phantasm. It was an enormous success all over the world in the spring, summer, and fall of 1979. It has remained a great favorite throughout the years, and it has spawned a series of colorful, inventive, terrifying sequels. Now, by means of this latest entertainment incarnation, Phantasm is here for your enjoyment. You will be seeing a film that holds a very special place in countless hearts. And know that as you watch, the tall man will be watching with you. Just behind you there, in the shadows.
Okay.
Boy.
Awesome.
Boy.
Awesome.
Boy. 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 Why won't that go
Oh
away?
boy.
Boy.
Yeah,
Boy. There we go.
funny.
There you go.
Wait, that's Quantum Leap. My bad.
My
I'm
son
so
used to come
tired,
down to my
guys.
man cave, and he'd point to the poster of Angus behind me up here. He'd be like, "Who's that?" And I'd tell him. He's like, "What's he say?" And he says, "Boy."
Boy.
And he'd run around. He'd look at it. And he'd kind of, "Boy." And then he saw I got a poster of Arnold over there for Terminator 2. He'd be like, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Arnold. He's the Terminator." He'd look at him. He'd look over there. He'd say, "What's this one say?" I'd say, "I'll be back." He never could get that right. He'd come down to the man cave and look up at Arnold. He'd go, "Be right back," instead of "I'll be back" every time.
Boy. Points for that.
BRB.
Oh, yeah.
He could have just went, boy.
Yeah. Oh, he got boy every time for Angus, though. He boy.
Now,
Oh, yeah,
does
this-
anybody know Angus's real name?
Yes. Oh,
I
my
think it's
gosh.
Rory something, right?
Rory.
Guy Rory.
Guy Rory, yes.
Yeah, Guy Rory. I knew it was something
Yep.
strange like that, but
You know the reason he went by Angus Scrim?
no idea.
Because of the Film Guild. He could not act out of the Film Guild, so he could only be on stage.
Music.
So he went by an alias so he could act
Yeah, they
and
can't,
perform
and
where
because
he
of
wanted
the
to.
Screen Actors Guild, they couldn't use their real
Yes.
name.
Okay.
But another little fun fact is, that was not his first screen name. See, he originally started out when he was first trying to make a name for himself in the entertainment biz, like many young actors that can, get the bump in Hollywood they need. They start off in porn, and before Angus Scrim, it was Anal Scrim.
Anal Scrim. Boys.
Oh shit! Cody watched the wrong damn movie
Yeah,
again.
man, I didn't see that.
You know, he
I
had a
think that
twin.
was
He had a
called
twin
Phantasm.
brother. He had a twin brother that went by Anal Scrape.
Yeah. That was Phantasm. That was a different movie.
Phantasm, yeah.
Phantasm, boy.
Phantorgasm. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody's made a porn parody of this yet.
There
The
probably
think
is
about
somewhere. If you Google enough, you might find one.
It's
Dude,
got.
I'm
I'm not
used-
sure.
Not sure I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
You know, like here, just to give you an idea, like I was Googling, I messaged Murray earlier because I was like, has there ever been a Phantasm video game? Because I thought, hey, I'd blow these guys away if I mentioned there's
actually,
a video game, right?
There is, but it is a fan-made video game,
Well,
and
yes.
I can't remember. He took one and tore it apart and rebuilt it.
Yeah,
and
and in
made it,
Japan, they said there was one called Phantasm, right?
Yeah.
But it's
this was
actually-
a hit.
But it's actually this game,
Yeah.
Phantasmagoria, right?
Which
And when I
believe
saw it, I was
H.R.
like,
Geiger is tied to that.
Yeah.
Or
I don't think
Geiger.
it has nothing to do with this film, though. Does it?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's actually like
Like,
a horror
it-
game, is it?
Yeah, it's a
either
horror game.
Clive Barker or H.R. Geiger is associated with Phantasmagoria. And
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
one of the
remember
first like live action people
Oh,
in a
cool.
video
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of
Cool.
the first horror games. It was really big in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like
Yeah.
early Windows, like the Windows 95, era,
Yeah, we're just lucky we even got this Phantasm film though, because if I remember right, it took them a year and a half, something around there, maybe 2 years to make this film because they had no money. So like,
Yeah,
he
it
called
was privately funded by his
Yeah.
his parent. Don Coscarelli's parents were kind of
Yep.
they were kind of well to do, but they weren't rich, but well to do, and they had a bunch of friends of the family that were doctors and socialites, and they
Yep.
all they went to all them and gathered up the $300,000 budget, and they were going to shoot it all just consecutively, but after like less than a week of shooting, they realized that wasn't going to work because
Nope.
most of the actors had real jobs
Yeah.
too in there, which they were just friends of Don Coscarelli, most of them. But so production gets shut down, and then they started doing it on the weekends. And Don Coscarelli didn't even own a camera or anything. They were renting the equipment every weekend, and he'd rent it
renting
on
and borrowing.
Friday. Yeah, he'd rent it on Friday. They shot it only on the weekends, and he'd rent it on Friday so he could keep it. And the rental place wasn't open on the weekend, so he could pay for 1 day rental and get to keep it all weekend. So he said sometimes they would shoot for 18, 20 hours a day on the weekends.
Weekends and holidays.
Yeah, and it took them, like I said, a year and a half to get on. The original cut of this film was over 3 hours long.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sad. There is not an original cut available. I would love to get my hands on an original cut.
It's not available, but Don Coscarelli has hinted around. He has said that he has a version of the original cut in his possession.
See, now
and
I'm glad
he has hinted around that it may
to release
in the near future it may get released.
Now I'm glad you guys were talking about the original. Before we get too far, I do have 2 different trailers. I've got the original trailer, and when they remastered, they made a new trailer. So I think it'd probably be good to kind of show those before we get too far into this. Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right, so here we go. Here's the official trailer first.
I love the music of these two.
Phantasm. Is it a nightmare? Phantasm. Is it an illusion? Phantasm. Is it an evil?
Jawa!
Dude, copyright!
You have to take me home.
But why?
No questions. You must take me home.
Yeah, but Murr, you're getting ripped off in this movie. That's not actually her boob you get to see.
Nope.
It's a double. Her mom was upset with her when she saw it. She said she should have used her boobs because she had much prettier boobs than that girl that stood in for her in that part.
Phantasm. Is it alive?
See, I want to get another CUDA, and I need a hearse. Oh, there's a good story behind this chase scene later on when we get into it.
Whatever it is. If this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead. Phantasm.
Okay, so that was the original. Okay. Now, for the remastered, they made a whole new intro. Here's the remastered one.
Phantasm. The delusion of a disordered mind. A phantom. A spirit. A ghost. For nearly 4 decades, it has been contained. But evil always has a way of breaking free.
Tommy's gone. It's hard to believe. It was a good idea not to let your little brother come to the funeral. Yeah, I don't like this place.
Something weird is going on up there.
This one kind of gives you a more better
The
perspective of what the
funeral is
film's
about to
about
begin.
than the
Sir.
first.
What's wrong with you?
There's something up there. I saw it.
You got some kind of an overactive imagination or something?
I know you're not gonna believe this, but these things were here.
Oh, give me a break. Okay, I believe you. What we gotta do is lay that sucker out flat.
So did he
Drive a
technically
stake right
give
through
his
his
brother the
goddamn
finger?
Technically, the tall man's
Gonna run
finger.
that tall bastard straight down to hell.
You play a good game, boy. But the game is finished. Now you die.
Phantasm.
Don't fear.
There you guys go.
Awesome.
Love these
I'm
films.
waiting. At some point tonight, I want to hear Murray say that there's something wrong with the boy. I gotta hear it
There's
tonight.
nothing wrong with
So-
the boy.
there's something wrong with the boy.
There's something wrong with the boy. I can't even.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
This only had a $300,000 budget.
Can you believe
And
that? It
in-
made
No.
millions too.
Yeah,
didn't
in
it?
the States, it grossed over 15 million alone. That's not, and it was a huge hit overseas too. I think it
It
grossed
kind
more
of-
overseas than it did in the States.
Well, it kind of mirrored from the year before Halloween, because independent film, $300,000
Yeah.
budget that blew up, and honestly, this movie was gonna Coscarelli would have got it made regardless because it was made off his investors' money, but it might not have ever got distributed and been the hit it was without the previous year's success of Halloween. Because after Halloween, this little
Possibly.
indie film. It was like at the time was the highest grossing indie film of all time, and then the next year, they're the production companies are buying up indie films left and right.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, was that a real mausoleum or was that a closed set made to look?
No, they built it, and it's a
They
funny
built
story. Trav can probably tell it better than me because they had they didn't have set designers come in. They had
Carpenters.
actual carpenters they knew, so they actually framed it out. They
I
said
mean,
this stuff you
this-
could climb on it. I mean, it was framed out like a
Yeah.
house.
It was like you could slam into it. It wasn't like most movie sets. You had to be careful so you didn't break or
Not
crack.
over a wall, yeah.
It was 2x4s and plywood heavy, and it was only one hallway. And at the end of it, it was kind of like a half octagon, so they could film from all the different angles to make it.
Mhm.
Don's a creative genius. He come up as okay, I need a hallway and I need this at the end of it, and that was it. It looks like it's so much bigger, but it's not. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
really a feat. But Don's first idea for Phantasm came from a dream. He dreamed he was running down an endless marble corridor, excuse me, and a chrome spear with a giant hypodermic needle was chasing him down it. And he'd wake up before it got to him. And that was his first idea for Phantasm. And that is originally what the sphere was going to be with a hypodermic needle, but Star Wars come out.
I was gonna say,
And-
you
yes.
think you got that from Star Wars? Like
No.
a weird weaver dream from
No. And he redesigned the sphere. He's like, crap, this messes up my whole idea. Because that was actually in his dream. That's what he wanted. And then he came up, well, what else could I do that is just as scary? And then I think he was sitting in his garage, or I forgot, his dad's workshop or wood shop. And he just happened to look and there was a drill bit. And it just clicked. He said, well, okay, so what if I got something like prongs that would just stab into you and then this drill bit comes out of it and it'll drill you?
suck out
And
your
so
brain.
that was the birth of the spear there, because he watched Star Wars, because Star Wars come out before they got done with this. And he had
Yeah,
to change some things.
And you know, we've
But-
all
well,
been there
they-
being
they
afraid
were
of a
already-
hypodermic needle.
Yeah.
They were already filming this when Star Wars was being filmed.
Mm-hmm.
So and
Yeah.
when Star Wars came out, and it's just like with the Tall Man's Minions. It's
Yes, that was another thing.
Coscarelli claims he already had written most of the script
Yeah.
whenever
Yep.
Star Wars came out. So I mean, it's it's a gray area. I mean, I kind of believe him because also Neil Young in 1975 and 76, he started in 1975 having these same little hooded creatures come out on his, when he was touring, come out on his live shows, and they'd carry around, it was normal sized people, but they'd carry around big props, oversized props to make them look small, like they were small. So I imagine that's probably where it was inspired by than Star Wars.
That sounds like some Stonehenge Spinal Tap shit.
Yeah. Well, then, like, even the mausoleum we're looking at now, props to the background, Z, I love it. The mausoleum, they only had that for one day. So they had to do all their shots. I mean, this thing was like just shot here, there, and everywhere, you know, and then Don pieced it all together. They only had locations of that, but it's not really a mausoleum. It's what was the name of that? I cannot remember. It's a big house that some crazy woman had built over there. And it's got all kinds of secret corridors and passages in it
not
too.
the Winston house, is it? That you're talking about the
Winchester house?
So.
Winchester
I believe
house,
so.
Yeah.
And so they had that for one day and they did it. But now that movie's been used in a lot. It's been used in Burnt Offerings in 1976 and
Like
also
awesome
A View to a Kill. And what was that? 85? Yeah. Yeah, it was using A View to a Kill too. So there's been several movies.
I thought that looked familiar because I've seen Burnt Offerings a bunch of times, and it didn't click in my head till now that was the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen?
But I just wanted to say, you mentioned the background being awesome. If anybody ever had Windows 95, if you're that old, if you know, you know.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's the old haunted screensaver. That's all it is.
Yeah, shit, man. We lived it up in the 90s, man.
And like I said,
Yes.
it reminded me of the mortuary from the movie a little bit, and
it's close.
I wanted something animated in the back, and I just thought it fit tonight's show. So
I agree. I love it.
Yeah, and I didn't want to use the sound effects because he had an owl going woo woo in the background, and you'd hear like creaking and stuff. We didn't need that. No. We make enough noises as it is. So
no, and it'd be a Windows 95 creaking and hoo hoo too. So yeah,
I don't know why I said that.
And super low budget. The film starts off with the funeral of their brother.
It technically starts out with the cemetery scene.
The cemetery.
True.
Yes,
my bad.
yes,
okay,
yeah.
I'm skipping
Which
a very
always
important
disturbed
part.
me.
It's okay. This is only Trav's favorite movie of all time. It's not like he's a little hazy on it.
But don't deprive us, dirty old men. Okay.
Right. No. Well, now was he humping the tall man then, or what? It always disturbed me.
He was humping the tall man, and
the tall man
got to make you wonder.
Is a shapeshifter.
But what does he get at? Why didn't he kill him before? He's taking guys. I understand that he's wanting more bodies to turn into minions.
Okay.
And spheres and sentinels, but he didn't have to fuck him.
No,
wait.
It's like that cop in South Park when he goes undercover, right? After he gets done with it, and then he's like, freeze!
He's committed to the role.
Yeah. You're missing it. All right. Angus, I wish I could have found this. Angus was actually asked in an interview, and Angus would sum this up better. He looked at this interview guy, and they said Angus was disturbing. Once he got into character, like everybody, Don, Reggie, Gigi, all of them would talk. Once Angus got in character for this film, said he would just like chill you out because he was no longer Angus Scrim. And he said, one of them asked, what's the point? Said if he's got all this power, he could just kill. And he said, well, you see, the tall man is bored, very bored. And along comes this.
He likes to play a game, yes.
And he plays a good game. And the tall man likes a good game. And tall man was just bored. And he's like, well, I guess I'll just grow tits and fuck this guy before I kill him. Oh, shit. There we go. We're banned off YouTube again.
YouTube.
Shit.
My job is done tonight. There we go. Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
Anyway.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good night, Cleveland.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do a play-by-play of this film because we don't want to have a 6-hour podcast because I
Yeah,
could
we don't
talk about this
need
film
to do the
forever.
play-by-play, but
Oh,
I did
well,
want
that's
to
one of the.
discuss. I did want to discuss. Was he humping the tall man? Because it's
Yes.
disturbed me for years. Like,
I want it gets worse as it goes on because I mean he fucks both the brothers really.
yeah, he
Or
like
well, almost.
Almost, yes.
Almost,
He gets
yes.
interrupted from the screaming little kid, though. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. But in the funeral scene, when they're at Tommy's funeral, that whole cemetery scene is most of all the cast family. Don's mother, Kate Coscarelli, she did the wardrobes in this. She's in several of the credits, but she is S. Tyler and Shirley May.
And she did a lot of the makeup too in the
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, for sure,
Makeup. Reggie Bannister's father and mother is in it. I think Reggie's father was the preacher.
A lot of them were investors too.
Yes, they were. Yep. Oh,
And
his mother. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Don Coscarelli's mother, Kathy, she was already a published author and wrote several books, and she did the official novelization adaptation of Phantasm, which never got officially released until I think 2002, and then they just did a limited run of 500 copies.
Yep.
So if you find a copy of that, you're doing
I want
pretty
Cody.
good.
Cody, I want you to say that fast like 5 times. The novelization evaluation. I want you to say it fast like
Novelization
5.
adaptation. Novelization adaptation.
Adaptation evaluation.
The guy can't see colors, but he's great at tongue twisters. Go figure. But now I've got damn near every Phantasm book you can find.
Speech at a certain point I have trouble with.
I
don't know why.
I got Rue Morgues. I got Phantasm Exhumed. I've got damn near every Phantasm book you can find, but this is the one I can't find. So if anybody out there finds one, hit me up. I want a copy of it.
He can't show, but he's got a blow up Angus doll too.
He's got the penis scrim doll. Yeah.
It's kind of like that on the Puppet Masters, the Chester. His head would spin around. He was the like the little what was it, like the little Joker figure? It's kind of like that. If you hit the button just right, it spins around. It's Cat Lester's head. So you got to 50-50 chance before you're done.
Nice. And
there's also
built-in motion sensor. So whenever he's doing this thing, it goes boy, 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 boy.
No, it's only at the last bit, and it really throws you off because it goes boy. You played a good game. But no, and there's also a comic book. I've wanted it forever. A guy made a limited run release of it. There's not that many, but actually got permission from Don, I believe, if I'm correct on that. But it's not quite. It's more like a Phantasm, kind of like Ravager before they ever thought about doing Ravager. It's like a post-apocalyptic Phantasm, like whenever Tall Man took over the world. But the last copy I found was shortly after Angus died, so everything went up then, and it was like $250 for the first issue of it, and I couldn't do it. I still want it. I've got everything else Phantasm, but
did they ever make an action figure?
Yes, there are a few of them, and sadly I don't have them.
I was going to say I'm wondering if McFarlane did one.
What? No.
I mean, come on, give him a break, Murr. This is only his favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, but they're so damn expensive.
They are. I've looked into it.
That's like you can get the Phantasm Cuda, and I used to be able to get them for like $30. Now they're like $225 is the cheapest one without the box. And then they do have the Tall Man figurines,
right?
That comes with the poles and a couple little dwarfs.
There's
right there. Yep.
There, I knew I had one. There's one right there.
But they don't make a Reggie Bannister one. If they had a Reggie Bannister one, I would buy it.
That's a bunch of bullshit. You can't tell me there's not a market for that. NECA, if you're listening, there is a market for Reggie Bannister action figures.
Yeah, I hope he's doing well, by the way.
The last I heard was about a week ago. Gigi had made a post, and she said it's kind of like he's getting tons of mail. she said it's kind of like this is kind of revitalized. Said his mind is actually there. It's just his body, but she said he's actually been able to get up and stand on his own and walk around just a little bit. She said he was doing really good, which kind of scares me too, because usually, when you're in that shape, you do really good for a little bit, and then it's about time for lights
Yeah,
out.
then it goes pretty quick
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
But the last I heard, but also hasn't made any social media posts in about the past 3 or 4 days.
Hey, Trav,
So,
I just got
yeah.
an update that Tall Man item that you ordered is on its way, the one that's wrapped discreetly.
Yeah, boy.
So,
cat's out. Cody, I'm sorry that Z let it out the bag. It's got your address on it, brother. I know you didn't have any Phantasm merch, so I was sending that one your way.
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to say something. I'm sorry.
45th birthday present.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See, the silver balls fly in the air, and then it just launches.
And I knew it would fit because you worked for Walmart for 20 some years. So I mean, you're good to go.
No. We're going to wheel that down into the field and put about 50 pounds of tannerite under it, and we're going to reenact Austin Powers 2.
And it's wrapped so discreetly. I mean,
we'll
you never know what
son of a bitch into space.
Your dad's gonna come home. There's gonna be a giant dick sticking out of his A-frame cabin.
Oh man.
Oh damn.
That's some
now this film had one different name, and that's when they did it in Australia. They had to rename it, and it was really bad. It almost sounded gay. It was The Never Dead in Australia.
Yeah, that's stupid.
They were afraid the audience would confuse it with a comedy that was known as Phantasma, spelled with an F instead of a PH. So they redid that.
The Never Dead. Imagine that. If it was called The Never Dead, I don't think it would have done as well. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's Phantasm in the movie is
man,
such a fever dream, like
or the never deadening story.
Right. The never boy.
And the MPAA almost kept this from launching.
I held back. I was going to, but I held back.
I'm trying so hard not to sing it, man. I'm trying.
The Motion Picture Association almost
you want
shut this down.
You do.
Don had to go to war with them. They wanted to give this film a rated X. Is what
not because of the boobs either. Not because of the boobs.
Probably because of the drill scene, right?
No,
not even the drill scene. No, it happens right after the drill scene. When the spear comes up to the cemetery worker and all the. Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It's when he hits the ground and then you see the urine.
Oh, and then
when he pisses himself.
Yeah.
Now
that was what they want to give it a rated X.
Embalming fluid.
Nope, it was urine because he was still alive.
He was just a rated X because he pissed on the floor.
Yeah, and it's not like you even see him pissing out. It just run out like you get the shot of his shoes.
Rated X.
Yeah.
Well, dude, they used to ban toilet. You couldn't have a toilet bowl on screen for a while. That was
the Brady Bunch. Yeah, the Brady Bunch was notorious for that. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, you couldn't even have the husband and wife laying down in the same bed at night. They had to have two
up
twin
until The
beds
Munsters was the first show to have the husband and wife laying in the same bed.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
Now, thanks for clearing that up, though, because I was thinking, is that actually piss or is it supposed to be embalming fluid? But then he did get his brain sucked out, and it was all like blood.
Well, see, I didn't know if it was
myself for less than that.
I didn't know if it was urine or is that stuff like with the finger, with the goo.
That's why I thought it was embalming fluid because the tall man's blood is embalming fluid, the yellow stuff.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
So I figured.
Yeah, like alien blood or whatever.
Yeah, that dude was one of his minions, and it was just the blood leaking out. But I guess if it was piss, that or urine, sorry.
Yeah.
That
it makes sense. Yeah, when you die, you empty your bowels. I mean,
yeah, I suppose so.
See, because I thought it was piss at first, but then when he got the finger and you saw that stuff in that box, then I thought, well, maybe it was that.
Who knows?
I don't know.
I guess we're gonna.
God, we should have. Trav, we should have filmed a a quick cut scene for this where we could have cut you asleep in your chair, and I come running in the room screaming, Trav, am I dead? And my pants are all wet. And you say, nah, man, you're okay. You just pissed yourself.
Again.
I got no balls sticking out my
Well,
head.
here, let's shoot. Well, let's see. We could always check here. Here, let's see here.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Oh, and in this scene, too, where it gets that caretaker, they used almost a 55-gallon drum of blood because Don never was happy with it.
So it's because of this they got a rated X.
Well, Don went to war with them, and I think in the original movie cut, they cut out the piss scene.
Trav,
or they were
going to
give it a rated X.
There was a very respected movie critic that went to bat for the film.
Yeah.
With the MPAA.
See, this doesn't give it. Could you imagine that in '79? Yeah.
Murray, where's the sound effect, Murray? Come on.
See, right here. They shot this scene so many times they used almost a 55-gallon drum of blood. Or it might have been 35 gallon.
How they did it.
Okay, here it comes. Here.
Yep, here it comes.
And there's
that right there.
Man, he must have really had to piss.
Yeah, that's a lot of piss. Yeah, that's a strong amount.
Well, they say when you die, you let go, but I imagine if you had a drill bit go through the center of your brain and hit your medulla oblongata, you'd really let everything go.
That was kind of like Dad at Mud Nationals, Trav, whenever he'd drink beer all night down the sand pit and never piss.
Then come back and piss by our tent, and we thought we had a freaking landslide going on.
Yeah.
See, now this right here, I thought he was mirroring his movements then too at first. You know?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Way.
But just notice all the shots here, and this is just one corridor with two sides. Looks like they go off and they stop. See, right there's a cut. And then it went back. Oh, and this is the finger shot too. This is great.
Mayonnaise. See, hey, and props to the sound guy for that. That was interesting. You know?
They should have just hired me. I could do it. That was pretty good stuff.
And when he put that finger in his pocket, was that thing like going the whole way
I mean, that's why he liked it. But I mean, think about why would you grab the finger and throw it in your pocket?
Yeah.
It's already there illegally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the point of like having that, you know?
Trav, why would you grab a finger and put it in your pocket? You know, we've hung out with Captain America since we were kids.
True, he puts everything
Trav's
in his
cousin, Jason Christian, and yeah, you never know what you'll find in his pockets.
We know some people I would go, hey.
His wife has been washing clothes, and out of the dryer, there'd be a dead crawfish in the dryer because he had a crawfish in his pocket. She'd wash it and then put it in the dryer and be like, damn it, Jason.
I can honestly say I've never had a crawfish in my pocket.
No, Murray used to have a cat that would have batted the finger around the living room.
Yeah,
you know?
I would have just put it out for him, and he would have just
Now they did rent some stuff from some movie sets, like in the graveyard scene where Mike is riding his dirt bike through the graveyard. That's not actually a graveyard. That was every tombstone I think it was 21st Century had in their lot. They rented them for a couple days for that scene.
Yeah, because that was actually a what was that place? It was a house. It's like a historic house.
So
yeah,
they rented real tombstones.
Well, they're not real tombstones. They're just tombstones.
No,
they're movie props.
Okay.
They're movie props. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was about ready to yell out a little poltergeist line.
It wasn't a real graveyard, because I'm like,
headstones.
Because he just goes riding his dirt bike. He just goes riding his dirt bike through a graveyard, and I was always like, where the hell did they find a graveyard that would let you ride a dirt bike through the middle of it for a movie scene? But no, it's not actually. That's why the tombstones look a little funny when they're out there. And then when he goes, that's when he's looking through his binoculars watching the tall man load the casket. because he pulls the casket up out of the ground.
Well, not quite though, because remember the bike stalls and then he starts hearing like weird noises.
Yeah,
like
Steve, I just sent you a picture of a tombstone. If whenever you get it, when you get a chance, if you can throw it in here.
And that was a paper mache casket that kept falling apart. So if you watch closely when he picks it up,
enough where he could pick it up.
Yeah, it
so
cracked
it's just
the
like
back side.
Yeah.
And rather than bracing it, they put a rope around the back. And if you watch closely, especially in the remastered one, you'll see the rope on the other side of it they put on there so Angus could actually get a hold of the casket and throw it in, and then the top's cracked. Now, in the original, it was harder to notice. Like if you watch a VHS version because of all the fuzz.
Oh, yeah.
Now, which one did you guys see first? Did you see part 2 first or part 1 first?
I actually was introduced to Phantasm.
I saw part 2 first. I won't lie.
Me too.
Through TNT Monster Vision at night with my dad, and it's when Joe Bob covered Phantasm 2.
Okay,
and I loved it. And I had never really seen a Plymouth Barracuda before, and that's what made me a Plymouth Barracuda fan.
Dude.
And
Made me a Mopar nut.
Dude, I had one. I had a Cuda. It was a 74. But my dumbass sold it. But
I probably saw this 1980 when it came on Showtime or something like that.
Yeah,
way back.
Nice.
So see, I remember because I saw Phantasm 2, and I'm like, man, this is a fucking awesome movie. And I'm like, well, this is 2, so I had to find 1. So we went to G&L Video, Cody, and found Phantasm 1. Phantasm 1, yay! And I rented it. And I'm like, whoa, this is the wrong movie. I'm like, that's not Reggie, or not. That's not Mike.
Here we go.
There's some of my kinfolk.
Yeah, speaking of headstones, I had to bring that up, Trav, because here this last weekend, which me and Trav talked about it, the 50 acres, our farm we live on here, it was actually originally settled in the 1800s by Trav's family when they first moved in this part of the country. And we don't know how big their farm was, much bigger than the 50 acres we have now. But on the adjoining property, which Trav's, some of Trav's family on our property, we found the old homestead last year where they lived down by a spring. But we just last weekend finally found the old Christian cemetery, which it's rather small and it hasn't been kept up, or there's no roads to it or anything. It's just out in the woods, and
that's the only tombstone. All the others are just rocks.
Rocks, piles of rocks. But
so your families has known each other for years, huh?
Yeah, different sides of the county. I really don't know. I mean,
well,
we
okay,
really
that's
don't,
what's weird.
As far as we know, there's not like any. Our family trees don't really weave together any place. So
see that's
but
what's
then
crazy.
Again, like being like 20 miles apart might as well have been 200 miles apart back then.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's crazy is like where Cody's at now is where my family started out, and where I'm at now is where his family started out. They started out here on Y Highway, so it's like we jumped sides. But no, Cody, I did some
of the county. Yep.
I did some digging on it. That is my great grandfather.
Wow, just great. Well, only one great.
Yeah, that was my grandfather's father.
So that's Rex's dad.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, the woman that put that there, Wilma, his Aunt Wilma, which was his daughter.
Yeah, the one Dad knew. Yeah, because she died.
I never knew that. That was my grandpa's sister.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm learning some of my family stuff there
too. So yeah, you were the baby of the family. Your dad was the baby of the family too, right? And I'm guessing, the way it's that's how it has spread out so far.
Yeah.
So
because all of you were born later on in the parent's life. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was 1927 when he passed away then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now we don't know when he originally moved on to this property, when they originally settled it. We just we've heard it was like in the 1870s after the Civil War sometime.
Oh, and you know why he's got a headstone? His daughter?
Well, yeah.
My Aunt Wilma. No, she didn't buy that. They ran a tombstone company.
Oh.
I
They
just
had a
found that
mining
out because
company. Well, that's
they
cool.
lived up there on the house on the hill right across the road from Harps. And
Yeah.
Mom asked Dad
In
one night, and
town.
I just found this out
Yeah.
a couple nights ago. Mom asked Dad, "What do they have a mini graveyard in their front yard here? Because you'd pull up and there's like tombstones sitting. So they're awful close together." And Dad's, "Oh no," he said they own a tombstone company. So Aunt Wilma and her husband ran a tombstone company. That's
So
why her dad's
she
got a
just had one
tombstone.
made for her dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah.
Hmm.
So that's why that's the only tombstone out there. So we have no
But yeah,
clue
really
who the other
cool.
people are.
We're just wandering out here in the woods, which our neighbors that gave us, like I said, it wasn't on our property. It was right across the fence on the neighbor's property out in the woods, but they gave us permission to go, told us where it was, around where it was. And we've been talking about it for years, going and seeing it. And we finally got around to it last weekend. So that was cool. I don't know who got a bigger kick out of it, me or you and Cap, but
Yeah.
just getting to see, that far back.
And I haven't got to talk to Cap yet. He don't even know that that's my great grandpa. So that's kind of neat.
Well, if that's because Rex was both of you guys' grandpa. So if that was his, it's his great grandpa too. Yeah.
True. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. So anyway,
Which that's cool because Cap got a picture. He had his 6-year-old daughter with us, and he got a picture of her standing by the tombstone. So that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool.
Almost 200 years worth.
There we go, man. We're off now.
So
yeah, sorry,
anyway,
I didn't mean to bore you guys with family history.
We got off topic.
That's right. No, hey, if they bump you for history like that sucks. If they bump you for history like that, that's cool history.
Oh no, I thought we got bumped because of the more you know thing. I'm behind.
Yeah, we don't want the bots to hear that.
Oh shit.
Okay,
they don't like shit either. Hey, real quick, just to get off topic one last time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I gotta say this. And I gotta say this about YouTube, and I'm a little upset about it. They are going to ban the Three Stooges.
What?
For violence?
For violence, the name calling that they call each other and stuff like that. They're going to kick anything Three Stooges off the YouTube.
Have they not figured out yet that woke is not the popular thing anymore?
No,
it's just getting ridiculous now. It really is.
Steve, I just had $1 million idea.
Go ahead.
Vortex Tube. A place to put all your videos where you're not copyrighted, nothing, free speech.
Well, eventually someday eventually someday I'm gonna do my own servers. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Sweet. There we go.
We can pretty much write it. We still have to deal with copyright.
Well,
but nobody can tell us what we can post and can't post. We just have to obey some copyright. At all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh.
Okay, back.
Anyway,
to the movie.
Back to the film.
Back to Phantasm.
The original Cuda.
And now back to the show.
And there's another thing, like whenever you find the Phantasm Cuda, like the official licensed Phantasm Cuda, it always says Phantasms 71 340 Cuda. And I was like, what did they got the box wrong? Because in the film it's a 440 6-pack Cuda. No. The original car in the film was a Cuda. It was a 340 Cuda.
And it ran like
shit. They didn't. Yeah, the motor was shot. They had to fight with it to get it to run good enough to do the film. It was just wore out.
Yeah, they just had it painted up to look good.
Yeah, they had it painted to look good, and they had a.
That's why the kid was always working on it.
Yeah. And it was, and they put 440 badging on it because Don was like, "Well, nobody's interested in a 340 small block. Let's just put the 440 badging on it." So yeah, so the original car actually is a 340 Cuda.
But no wonder. Thank you, Henry fucking Rollins. But no wonder this movie's always been so appealing to us, Trav. I mean, it definitely appeals to the backwoods folk because they're spending half the fucking movie working on the car.
Yeah, but also the very first Cuda is long lost. Nobody knows where it's at.
Nobody knows what happens.
I know where it's at. It's parked right there.
I wish it still was. I'd give my left nut for that car. Maybe both of them. I don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
was going to say, man.
the CUDA set at a film crew member's house for a long time, and it was for sale by the production company, but it was in such shitty shape. I mean, because the old lacquer paint job on it in the California sun with no wax on it or nothing had hairline cracks all over it. And this is what makes you sick. They were only asking $3,500 for the car, and it was a movie car. And they eventually sold it. And there's rumors that the guy gave $1,000 bucks.
Okay,
Anyway, it was
okay,
between
but
$1,000 and
when were they
$2,500 bucks.
asking that price though? When?
Way back then, but it was a movie car too.
Yeah, but 3,500 back then was a good chunk of money, you know.
It's when they made the second movie is when it sold.
Yeah,
they were in production making the second movie, and because they went back to get the first car, and they were like, "Whoa, this thing's a piece of shit. Nope, let's sell it."
yeah.
So they didn't want to put the money into bringing it back. And
okay, so we're talking this is like
so,
80, 86, 87.
Yeah.
All right.
There is now, if you ever see a black 71 CUDA and it's got a sunroof, there is a chance that it's that car, because Don had that put into this car. That was not a factory. Well, there's a gray area on here too. You couldn't really get a CUDA with a factory sunroof. They said you could request one from the dealer, but the dealer installed it and they considered it a factory option. But anyway, they're very rare. But this car was not one, and Don had it put in.
You got to wonder why he made that decision, though, Trav, working on such a shoestring budget.
Yeah, like why pay the extra for the sunroom? It really. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
it was for the chase scene. The chase scene.
Oh, of course,
Okay, now there's also some flops. Now, if you watch the old ones, you'll notice the car pulling in and everything. It's a hard top, like pulling in the driveway here and there. And then later on in the film, it's a moonroof.
Actually, was it a hard top here?
Yes, it is. See? It's a hard top. But then halfway through the film, it turns into a moonroof. Well, he made the moonroof. Right there, yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. He made the moonroof for the scene. Then the rest of the time you see the car in the picture, you only see Al Pacino shots. The camera's low looking up, so you can't see the cab. Because in the chase scene where he comes up and throws his arm out and knocks the moonroof off, it was gone because they just threw it up and over and it came off. They didn't have it hinged right, and it just come off and then went flying, because all the scenes they did in this film driving, they were actually driving. I mean, so it was actually moving scenes. I'm going to go ahead and jump in.
Michael Baldwin talking about that. He's 14, like hanging out the window. How wild it was.
He actually learned how to drive on set. He actually learned to drive in a 71 fucking CUDA.
But he didn't know how to listen. Yeah, but he didn't know how to listen. Just let him come up on your ass, and he let the car come right up alongside him.
There's nobody driving.
Yeah.
But
and his first shot was where? The windshield. There's nobody driving, and his first shot hits the windshield.
Yeah.
Well, I got to give you, Matt, though. You're shooting in a moving vehicle. I don't care if you're shooting a shotgun or me and Cody tried to shoot shit out of the back of my old red truck. It's hard. It's not like the movies.
Out of a moving vehicle,
accurate at all.
Shooting a deer or something like that. It is difficult. It's very difficult.
Cody, Game Warden may be watching. No, you want a large capacity magazine and use the Cody Robinson theory. If you throw enough lead out there, you're bound to hit something. So it's not like the movies where they're crack shooting. It doesn't work when you're in a moving vehicle. But no, since we're already on the car chase scene, I'm going to jump into there. The way that was filmed is awesome. So the shotgun's loaded with blanks, but it's loaded with blanks that make the flame for the theatrics of the movie. So to get this shot, they took the trunk deck lid off of the CUDA, and Don Coscarelli is sitting back there strapped into this car with the camera. So when he's shooting, it's going right by him. Well, they think of this, so they wrap Don in a bunch of foam and a helmet with the camera. So Don's it's like freaking mattress foam too, to deaden the shotgun blast. So at the end of the scene, they do it. And they get pulled over, and Don's like, "Hey, I think we got the scene." And all of a sudden he gets flogged, and the crew just starts beating the living hell out of him. Well, they're not beating the hell out of him. He's on fire, and he doesn't know it. The shotgun blast actually caught the foam.
Who hasn't that happened to you before? Come on.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Reminds me of one winter whenever I was welding up the exhaust on my old Chevy pickup, and I was on a creeper underneath it, and I had this ratty old pair of coveralls because it was super cold out, but I patched them up a bit, and they were really frayed, and God, it was like in the teens or single digits. It was super cold. I didn't have any heat in my shop, so I'm welding this up, and I got the welding helmet down, of course, so I can't really see anything. And I notice I'm starting to warm up. I'm like, well, this ain't so bad in here. I'm starting to warm up. And I lift up my helmet, and from my knee up to my waist is on fire.
Awesome.
Oh, and you know why you only see Dos Equis beer in this? And there's like Dos Equis beer everywhere in this film. They got all the free beer they could handle. They got like 65 cases of beer as long as they put Dos Equis in so many camera shots in here.
Yeah, and Michael Baldwin, this was his first drink of alcohol. They were feeding him real beer during the shooting. With that beer that he's drinking in the movie, it's real beer.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool. Hey,
he's like, hold on, Don, I think we need to do another take.
Right. Speaking of Michael Baldwin, I mean, it was such a mistake not having him in part 2.
Okay, well, there's a story behind that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Wasn't it because they thought he didn't have enough charisma?
Nope.
Yeah,
it was because it was a major studio took over Phantasm 2.
They wanted a more well-known. They wanted Don to put at least one well-known actor. At the time, James LeGros was. They wanted a well-known
already.
He was a teen heartthrob.
That they could do a love of what do they call it? A love interest with. Yeah.
Interest.
And they didn't think Michael Baldwin was could do a good love interest scene.
You know, he
either had to get rid of Reggie or Michael Baldwin.
And Reggie, I think, was more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Michael Baldwin, he'd been in one of Don Coscarelli's 2 studio films he'd done before this, and they were both flops. But except for one of them, they were both teen coming of age movies, comedies.
Like World's Greatest and
yeah.
I can't remember the name of the other one.
Jim something, The World's Greatest, and I cannot remember to save my life.
But anyway, one of them hit pretty big in Japan. So Michael Baldwin was kind of a teen heartthrob in Japan for a while.
Now, speaking of heartthrobs, do you guys know who almost got the role over the guy that they chose for Phantasm 2?
Brad Pitt was at the top of the list.
Brad Pitt.
You got it. Yeah, Brad Pitt. We almost had Brad Pitt in Phantasm 2.
How awesome would that have been? His career probably never would have took off, but
yeah, that would have been kick-ass.
Come on, what's in the coffin?
The tall man, yeah.
What's in the coffin?
That would have been cool, though.
Yeah, but then later on, when they done another Phantasm, we would have Angelina Jolie as the lady in lavender, and that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, it would have been weird, man.
And you are the tall man. Not something dumber than that.
Yeah, something dumber than that.
Yeah, it was crazy the way this movie was made, though, because Don was 23 when they started this movie.
Yeah, 23 years old, and he puts out a franchise
right out of college
film.
He was 25 when they finished it.
Right. Yeah, and the way they filmed it too, so unconventionally, shooting on the weekends, didn't know, renting the equipment,
It had a total vision,
Oh, and the spears.
It's just amazing what he was able to do.
Look how good the spear scenes look.
Which could happen with our
good now.
Hey, and the same thing could happen with our friend Ken Ace Brewer.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
You never know, man. You never know.
Especially if he gets look what he does with so little money. I mean, if Ken gets a decent budget, he's going to be throwing some.
He could pull some stuff off,
And Mary's getting really good at that makeup and stuff with special effects and stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Now, another trivia question for you guys. What did Don Coscarelli go on and do right after this movie? What was his next movie?
Oh my gosh, I know this.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I just heard
this
Beast
earlier.
Master.
Yep. Yep, he went on and he did Beastmaster right after Phantasm. And Beastmaster turned out to be a gigantic hit.
And the lead actor was?
The Beastmaster.
Mark Singer.
Mark Singer, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But fun little, not really fun fact for Don Coscarelli, which is what ruined him on doing studio films, is that movie actually got took away from him. He did not get to finish it. And he still does not look back at that movie fondly.
Wow, I thought he finished the whole thing.
No, he got took away from him.
Beastmaster,
man. And it's one of my favorites from the 80s, hands down. Yeah.
I think I've seen Beastmaster 10,000 times.
Oh my God, they played it on HBO so much in the 80s, early 90s. So much to the point that people would kid that HBO stood for, hey, Beastmaster's on.
Yeah, hey, Beastmaster's on. Yeah, dude, I must have saw it 1,000 times on HBO. Because oh my God, I love that movie.
Scarred me for life seeing the ferret die.
Yeah, dude, it scarred the dudes with the when they poured that green shit in their ears and they were running around, they had the claws, the Ravengers or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things scared the hell out of me. And Rip
Dude, and those witches with the faces, but the bodies that kill, man. Oh my Lord.
Bodies, I was so confused as a child, Like one minute I'm like,
what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
man, and that movie came out when I was going through puberty at that time. It's like, hell yeah, dude.
I couldn't understand. I had a very strange boner as a child.
It was like, ooh, the Beastmaster's on. Yes.
Hey, there is, when they're in the lake or whatever, and she's, she's buck naked.
Oh, she was. Oh my God, she was so hot. Yes.
On HBO. I don't think they showed the boobs.
It's on YouTube. You can actually watch a movie and they actually show.
That's where. Yeah, that's the last place I watched it was on
YouTube. But if you want to see great with her and still kind of clean, Sheena.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Oh well, look what she looked like, and close to modern day now. That '70s show. She looked great in
it. Rest in peace.
She's gone? Oh, I didn't
know.
Yeah,
she passed away.
Yeah, she passed away several years ago.
Yeah.
Man, all the good ones are gone, man.
Not necessarily. There's one we made a mistake of. I noticed last week because I forget what show we were doing, but it's been a couple months back that we were doing a RIP segment, and somebody said John Aston had died. Gomez Adams. He just had his 95th birthday. He's not fucking dead.
Yeah, dude, he's still creeping around, man.
But we did lose a great one, Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace, Val.
Yeah.
I think
ain't that crazy?
He will forever be our Huckleberry.
Beat Huckleberry, not Barry.
And you know what? Nobody ever really talks about this movie, but I loved Wonderland when he was John Holmes.
Yeah.
That was great. But Top Secret.
He's great in everything. He was great in everything he did.
Man, I love
he elevated every project he was attached to, even shit ones.
But yes. I'm
so
your
have
Huckleberry.
you guys
Yeah.
Okay, have you guys seen My Name is Val?
Yeah, that's his son. The voice is his son, dude.
The voice is his son, and that's all. That's like he's filmed everything since he got a camera.
Yeah.
He's got thousands of hours, and he kept it. And it was just, I saw it, and I'm like, this is not going to be very interesting. And I just clicked it on to fall asleep to, and I wound up watching the whole thing and couldn't fall asleep.
It's unreal that's his son talking, and that sounds identical to him. Yeah.
Oh, and well. Yeah. And the movie The Doors is what made him get his divorce, because he got into Jim Morrison character and never got out of it. And finally she's like, fuck it, I'm done. Because he was a method actor. He had to get into that sequence. She'd
be like, Val, what do you want for dinner? How about chicken? All right.
Oh yeah, she was. Well, they interviewed her. She's like, it was nonstop.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
Yeah, but
she said it was nonstop.
But give him props, dude. He did the singing in his movies. Not only
Yes,
The
he
Doors,
did.
but Top Secret and all
Very
those.
talented man.
Yeah. The guy,
Well,
he
my
was
la-
hands down amazing. Yeah.
Now,
my
was he
last
not? He
show
was.
this Saturday
Hey,
is the
he was
Doors.
Uncle Ned on South Park too. Remember you?
Oh,
After he had a
shit.
stroke.
Oh, that's
Oh.
Oh my God.
Keep going.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Keep going.
Too soon. Sorry.
No, all I think of is when Ned was
Hey,
on
Val's
fire.
up there laughing about that right now. You can't tell me
When-
you that, or I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. One of
When
the
Ned
two.
was on fire and he's like, "No, it hurts." Yeah, sorry.
Now, sadly,
It
I did hear Val
hurts.
was kind of a. I heard he was kind of an asshole.
Oh yeah, he
Well,
was. He was like
but-
all great actors
but-
are that way.
But you know, the guys that are like pure genius like that, though, they usually are. You know,
Yeah. Like I
But-
heard a lot of horror stories from the island of Dr. Moreau. I guess he
Well-
was monster level asshole on that movie.
yeah. But
Yeah,
I
not
also
only that,
heard he
look who he
was
was
very
co-starring
generous
with.
too. Yeah.
Well,
Marlon Brando, I
That
mean-
I've heard. Yeah, I heard Brando was the big pain in the ass on that.
So
Oh,
you had
yeah.
Brando and him there. Holy shit!
They
It'd
both
be like
had,
having
yeah.
Murr and Grandpa in the same movie. Come on, in that close quarters the whole time.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
geez, I don't think
Brando
I'd-
started it, and Val Kilmer was like, "Nah, fuck you," and they were
I
going
don't know.
back and forth. Brando
Mhm.
notoriously didn't like Val Kilmer,
No,
and
he decided
yeah,
he didn't like
Island
Val
of
before he ever
Dr.
got
Moreau,
on
that's
set
a-
with him.
that's
And
a
they
whole
said that's how
nother-
Brando was. Said he would find out who he was co-starring with, and he would pick out one or two people that he would despise before he even met them.
Yeah, and just go from there, just tear them apart.
Yep.
Yeah, Brando.
Now,
was
look, hey,
was
well, let me
insane.
ask you: do you think that was better than the original?
What Island of Dr. Moreau?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been if Richard Stanley would have finished it.
I don't remember the original.
The original was like way long ago.
Yeah,
I
don't
haven't
remember
seen
it.
either of them since I was a teenager, so I can't.
Yeah, dude, I
really,
can't.
comment.
There's
I
something about
remember.
the newer one with Marlon Brando that makes me so like. You ever watch a movie and you feel like you got a film on you? Like you feel dirty and just
Yeah.
ugh.
That's because it's got Bobby Boucher's girlfriend Vicky Valancourt in it.
Oh man, I like her.
Yeah,
though.
She's the devil.
yeah.
No, it's I think it's because it's so hot. Like the movie is hot and sticky and just it just makes me uncomfortable when I watch it.
And
But
I understand it now because you watched it on shag carpet too. So
That's right, man. And it got
That
all
makes
wet
sense.
and soggy, and I hated it because I was
Mhm.
sweating, man.
I don't know.
Damn.
I thought it was still better than the original though. But
Well, it probably,
I like it.
probably was. I've only seen the original, like maybe once when I was a kid, and I've seen the remake. I saw the remake in the theater actually because I was so excited about it, and then I was like,
oh God, I can
Yeah.
picture you in the theater.
yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that.
Back in the good old days when genetically splicing humans with animals was just fiction.
It was fiction, and
Yeah.
now,
Oh.
look at where we are today.
now it's real.
And nobody cared either. You know,
hmm
Yeah, holy shit.
nobody cared.
Yeah, now you got to have permits to do that shit. What the hell?
And now here we
Yeah.
are. Here we are. How many Jurassic Park movies into it are we now? With another one
Oh
coming
my
out this summer.
gosh.
God, yeah. What is
Too
I'm
it?
so
many
done
would be
with
the
them.
answer to that.
Jurassic
Yeah.
World, Dominion, Banana Republic, fucking
Rebirth and
yeah,
Afterbirth is
Rebirth or
coming out.
some
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, dude. There was no
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That last Jurassic Park movie sucked.
Well, in the new one, you can't even call the T-Rex the T-Rex. They have to call him they Rex. They
Yeah.
went woke. Fuck
Yeah.
him. Fuck this one.
It's I pity.
Yeah.
I pity the poor
T-Rex.
fool who calls him T-Rex.
Yeah,
Mr.
he
Mr.
gets- he
T-Rex
gets a
to
little
you.
uptight about his
Hey,
pronoun.
hey, I sent you the picture of who they're doing the next Snow White with, didn't I, Z?
Yes, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
show that on this
Yeah,
show. No.
yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. I don't know how everybody's going to get over Snow White saying
It's-
motherfucker every time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know how those fairy tales start with an actor like that, right?
Yep.
You motherfuckers ain't gonna believe this shit. All right,
Get
I'm
them damn
done.
dwarfs out there. There's a bunch of motherfucking snakes out there.
Yeah.
I'm getting awful sick of it. Yeah.
Motherfucking trail.
So anyway, back to the film at hand. So, you know, So we might as well just go to the chase scene because that's the last memory
to the
I have
chase.
of it. Yeah, where they shoot the hearse and run. Well, there actually was somebody driving the hearse. It was just one of them little guys.
I'm the sphere.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. All right.
And then they get out there.
Was told me.
Uh-oh. Z forgot his meds again.
No, I'm the sphere.
Ah,
My head.
Yeah, that looks good with the head there. Yeah.
Okay,
You're not
sorry.
shiny enough. You're gonna have to polish it a little bit more.
No more hydros for you tonight, Z.
So
No, I'm
they
good.
go up
I'm
there and they
tired.
figure out
I'm so tired, guys.
it
It's
was
not
one of the
even funny.
minions driving the car, and it's Tommy that they just buried. So they thought.
Oh, and he got all shrunk
Yeah.
up.
I remember, and then they grab him and they put him in Reggie's ice cream machine.
It was cold.
That's right, because they told Tommy to bring the truck. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And Reggie.
Or
Tommy's the dead one.
Reggie.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. See, tired.
So yeah, and then shortly after that's when Mike's brother makes him go to them girls, and there's an interesting story why this whole scene was written. So he makes him go to the girls in the antique store. He's going to keep them with them while him and Reggie go figure out what's going on. And yeah, they did miss a great expo on that because they were pretty good looking girls. But so he finally, and he's walking around this antique store and he finds this photo of the tall man, which was pretty neat, especially back in the day when this is made. And it's a photo like back in like the 1800s of the tall man, horse and buggy. And he's like, holy shit, that's him. And then the photo turns and looks at him, and like animates just for a split second. Go ahead, Murr.
No, I was agreeing with you. I know the scene. Yeah.
So then he's like, no, there's something. We got to go. We've got to go. So he agrees to them girls, and Don wrote in this whole sequence for one reason. They go up and they find Reggie's ice cream truck turned on its side in the middle of the road, and they're in the Volkswagen Beetle, him and the girls. Well, two interesting things on this. They actually turned the ice cream truck on its side, and it was a 50s model. Well, they had to be very careful. This was like the one or two of the only shots. There's two shots that was actually filmed in the studio. They actually rented a studio for this one, where they turned Reggie's ice cream truck over on its side, but they had to be very careful because they needed it in other shots. So they turned it on its side and laid it on its side. And that's when the girls get attacked.
You think they do that the last shot then,
Yeah, well, not the way this was filmed.
Okay.
I mean, they just like weekend here, there, a holiday, and that. So they the girls come up and get attacked. And when the girls get attacked, you hear them screaming. That is the only reason Don wrote this into this film, because he thought those girls were great screamers. So we get this whole scene scenario because these two girls could scream. And he wanted them in the movie. And he came up with a way. And it's just cool that I look the way Don's mind works. He's like, okay, I had this bit for this film. I got this and this and this. And whoa, wait a minute. I just heard this. Okay, I want this in my movie. And he's able to add this and blend it perfectly. I thought was just amazing.
Yeah, well, when they started filming, he didn't have the ending finished. And there was so much they changed during filming. I mean, so many rewrites and stuff he did and changed on the fly, just stuff they thought would work better. And that's how they ended up with an over 3-hour movie to start with.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had no really stunt doubles on this first one. They had one driving guy for the one crash where it blows up. And he just had some extra pyro from a film he just got off of. But it's like all the driving scenes where Angus is behind the wheel. It was dangerous as hell because they did that on backcountry roads. They didn't have a film set. And Angus is like, without my glasses, I'm blind as a bat. He said, I could see literally maybe 3 or 4 foot in front of the hood. It'd be like Cody driving without his contacts in at night. And he's like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's driving down the road. They're filming. He's like, it was scary. He's like, because I know there was film crew somewhere, but I just didn't know where. I just did my best to keep it in the middle of the road.
That's crazy. I didn't even know he had glasses, really.
Oh yeah, he had to have glass, especially at night.
Well, he wasn't a young guy when they filmed this,
Yeah. I was gonna try to find out how old he was when they shot this. Because he passed away recently, right? Like,
no, 2016.
Oh God, it's been 10 years. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where we're at, buddy. Yeah, 10 years ago is, might as well say yesterday.
Yeah, because it's just he died, and I had a comic book artist named Nathan Thomas Miller or Milner do a drawing of my dad as Darth Vader, and I was originally going to do Angus Scrim, have him draw Angus Scrim and have that on my wall, but I'm like, nah, dude, I want my dad as Darth Vader. Steve's seen the picture in my house.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's that seems like just yesterday I had that picture commissioned, but
That's
no,
pretty cool.
it was 10 years ago now. Jesus Christ. Oh, time goes by fast, I guess.
Yeah, because me and Trav, when we originally recorded our first podcast, and which never has been aired, that was in 2015, and we had made mention it was a Phantasm review. That was actually that we're doing a full Phantasm retrospective, and part 6 it wasn't even out, or part 5, sorry, Ravager wasn't even out yet, and
No.
and we'd made mention then because they were right then, when we recorded it, only I think a few weeks before was when Angus had passed.
Yep.
Yeah, I still have to see Ravager again. I watched it once and was like, what the fuck is going on with this movie?
Dude,
man?
if you love the other films, go through and watch them again and watch Ravager and watch them all back to back, and it really is a wonderful bookend to the series. There's a lot of fan service there, but they made it for the fans.
It is definitely one that's a lot like the first. You have to watch it several times, and every time you watch it, you'll find something new.
More stuff will sink in.
Like a weird fever dream kind of deal.
And you're right, Cody. Yeah, 2016 is when Angus passed away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Age 90. He was 6. He was 6'4" I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's just tall.
He was tall.
And they put him on platforms to make him even taller for these times.
Platforms, smaller suits. Had him on a tote box a couple times.
Yeah, I remember it because 2016 is the year I lost my dad. So it's like, I lost Angus Scrim, which was from one of my favorite films. Not long after that, So
they said he was born in 1926 in Kansas City, Kansas, and died on January 9th, 2016 in Tarzana, California.
Yeah.
Natural causes is what it says.
How old was he when he died?
90.
90. I bet to say I knew he was old.
Made it to 90.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta give it to him for that. He had a good life.
That's another thing. They had to get real creative with their shots. And this is a 23 to 25-year-old Don Coscarelli, because A. Michael Baldwin grew, I think it was 4.5 to 5.5 inches during film production of this movie.
Yeah, he was only 13, right?
Yeah,
that growth spurt age, yeah.
My question is, did Flavor Flav get boy from him?
No. Flavor Flav walked up to Angus Scrim one time, and he went up and said, yeah, and Scrim's is like, smack, and just gave him the tall man backhand. And that's when we never heard from Flavor Flav again. I'm pretty sure he slapped him into another dimension.
Hey, real quick, guys, if you lose me here in a minute, we got a hell of a thunder boomer coming through here. The lights have already blinked a couple times, so
that means it's probably going to be hitting me about
it's heading your way too.
15 minutes, yeah.
Hey, if my Starlink holds up, maybe yours will.
Dude, my Starlink done great through all the storms.
Yeah, you're doing.
I don't know
so far.
I've been lucky. I haven't had any liberal yuppie bastard come try to set it on fire yet.
Well, it's coming though.
They don't do that around here, because around here we shoot them sons of bitches. They don't get to play their stupid games down here. You come up here and pose a threat, we don't. Nope, you're done.
It's it's how it goes. You support Elon, so that's a whole other story. That's a whole.
I love my Mustang. I will not drive a Tesla because I don't want no damn battery cars. I'm all about burning fossil fuels.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
I do want one though, but we won't get political on here. Too many.
No.
Yeah.
Not much. It's not like we wear any.
Gotcha. That's okay though. But yeah, Phantasm,
It's
excellent movie.
we love. Hey,
Oh yeah.
on this we love everybody on the show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We don't hate anybody. We're all about peace, love, and unity, and we even love Jawas. You know, so
Yeah, little
Yeah.
Jawas and little.
And you know,
now, if we ever have Cyrus on, I mean, we may get banned for that, but
Cyrus's kind of movie right there. He was probably getting a little.
a little bit of a little Cyrus
tingle.
jab going on.
yeah,
Yeah,
shit, we should add Cyrus on for this one. This is Cyrus's type of movie. We need to hit him up whenever we cover the rest of them.
He likes that shit.
No,
yeah.
he's all excited because I was talking with Mary for a couple hours after her show.
Yeah.
And she is working on getting a show put together here for Vortex AV where we're gonna have a few people join in, and we're gonna be talking with Bridget the Midget.
Oh, nice.
So Cyrus
volunteer.
is like, yeah, Cyrus is like
Oh,
really super
God.
excited. But here's the funny part: Cyrus had no idea who she really was. We had to explain to him who she was.
Just tell him one film.
If you could
I
have
hope-
seen his eyes when we
I
told
hope
him
they
who
serve.
she was.
Hey,
Ooh.
just have him tell him one movie. I hope they serve beer in hell.
Yes.
So, you know. But
hope they
I
serve them
I
very
want to
well.
ask her questions because not only that, she does wrestling. She's a musician. Also, I want to
Yeah,
ask her a
she's done a
bunch
lot
of
of
questions.
stuff.
I
She
think
was a
she's
stripper.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, she used to strip up in Madison every once in a while. She'd go up to Silk Exotic, and
Oh, that's the one up on the Upper West Side of
Yeah,
Madison,
yeah, by
right? By
Middleton,
Middleton.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
that's where I'm going tomorrow. Is Middleton?
Middleton. Oh, I heard.
Oh, you're going to Silk?
Your pops wants another new car.
No, he wants to get a friggin' Lexus, and I'm like, dude, my butt cheek won't fit in a Lexus.
Okay.
That's,
You know the difference between Lexus and Toyota?
no.
Toyota doesn't want you to know that they make Lexus.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
It's like the
Yeah,
Denali
they're just
and
Toyota with all
GMC.
the options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, and he's wanting to get it, and I'm like, dude, Pop, I sold my truck to Grandpa. If you get a Lexus, I might never be able to leave my house. You know, it's
Maybe that's why he's doing it. I don't.
that could very well be, man. I'm just
Well, you know, your buddy Z's got a truck. He's got that.
No, I
He's
ain't
got
gonna-
that topper on the back. You can ride back there.
That's what he's saying. He's
You
saying
got
I
a
can
partial
get
truck, Z. It ain't grown up all the way yet.
No, I got a little baby truck. Yeah, that's all right. I like my baby truck though.
Yeah, that's a nice truck. But yeah,
So-
no, I got
Hey,
other ways to get around. But
Trav, it's jacked up and it'll make it through the mud. Okay.
Yeah.
that's all
I got
that's
big-
all you can ask for.
And you know what? It may be little, but I made up for it with big beefy tires. Okay.
So I guess when Steve comes down, Trav, we got to take him on a creek run in his truck.
I'll take my Blazer. He can take his truck. And
Why do I feel like I'm never coming home when you guys say stuff like that? Because you guys say we gotta take Steve down to the creek.
Well, I've had almost all of my full-size vehicles to this creek that they barely floated a canoe through. So
Okay. Oh, so they're not very deep at all, right?
No.
no, it's just really rough and tight, and you got to go over and around and up and down logs and rocks, and
I'd
And
rather
that's
ride.
bu-
Hey, you know what? I still.
and that's
gotta
before
drive
Wade.
home.
And that's it's a Ranger. You're not expecting
You
to
can
drive
stay
home.
with us forever and ever.
No, I'll
We'll
ride with
be-
you guys.
We'll be
I'll
friends
ride with
to
you
the end.
I
He's
love-
like,
Yeah,
I'm
Murray,
not sure if I'm coming down there now.
with all the tornadoes that stuff that they have down there too. He says, Cody told me, well, if a tornado takes out everything down here and you come down to visit, don't worry, we've got tents. That's what he said to me. I'm like, okay.
And generators.
Yeah.
We'll still have internet. We got generators. We
Yeah.
plug the internet into. Yeah.
Starlink, man, yeah.
High tech rednecks.
Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Good.
I wish I could go with you down there, man, but I'm pretty much
Hey.
landlocked.
Hey, your pops is
I'll
getting that.
I'll throw you in the back of my truck with a empty Folgers can, so you're all set?
Yeah, I could do that. As long as I don't gotta take a dump, we'll be fine.
You still
Just
can.
got a hole in the
There's
bed.
windows. There's
Got a hole in the
windows.
bed.
I suppose.
Hey,
Just lay in
and
the
while you're
back.
at it, swing by and grab Grandpa and his bag of meds and just haul your asses down here. We'll have
That's right.
almost everybody from Vortex here.
That'd be awesome, man.
It would be awesome.
That would be
all right,
awesome to get the whole Vortex family together for like a,
A
if we ever hit
Backwoods
it
reunion.
big. Yeah, well, I was to say a Vortex convention.
I would love to see us all at the tavern down in Texas.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That
I'm
would
game
be
for
fun. Yeah, yeah.
Shoot, yeah.
My shop's bigger though, just saying. So we.
Yeah, see, I was going to say
be a little
that. It
more.
looks like,
No, it's not. Have you seen how much shit your dad's got that thing packed with? We couldn't fit everybody in there.
Fair enough.
as long as there was a place for me to sit, I'd be all right.
Hey,
Oh,
we
look at
cleaned
it.
it out. We cleaned it out last weekend for my oldest boy's birthday party. So there's at least as much room as in the tavern now.
You could almost pull a vehicle in it. You couldn't shut the
Almost.
door, but you could almost pull a vehicle in it now.
And we're all
I
the
pulled 3 vehicles in it yesterday before the
And Murray.
storms blew through.
and we're all the smoked river goat and moose.
Hey, all right, man.
Yes.
I wouldn't
I'm
mind.
out of
I
moose.
still haven't eaten. I want
Oh,
the moose. I
moose.
still haven't got moose.
I'm out of moose.
Oh, moose.
Maybe I can talk my neighbors into giving me a little more.
I know the guys
But you
down
know
in-
what? There's plenty of deer meat and plenty of good, fresh, organically raised, grass-fed beef.
Yes. No, everybody in Texas wants cheese curds. That's what they want. They want good Wisconsin cheese curds down there. But trust me,
Those are
that cheese
good.
curds are gourmet up here. Murray can tell you. They're
Oh
cheese
yeah,
curds are good.
I was
I've
gonna
had
say, they're
Wisconsin
pretty
cheese
awesome up
curds.
here.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like we'd probably have to give them the squeaky cheese from that place over by Broadhead over there. Juna, it's I can't remember the name of the place, but it's got the world's finest cheese curds. Like there was a cheese curd festival, and these guys won it. And
Wow.
it's not too far from us, so yeah, I can understand why they'd want some of the curds, man.
Oh yeah, they want the good stuff you can deep fry.
Nice.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to we're losing.
Yep.
it. Back to Phantasm.
Yeah, we got to get back to Phantasm.
Yeah.
So Mike kicks out the back glass of the Volkswagen Bug and runs back to the house. That little dude's got some hellacious cardio, you know it? That's a hell of a run. And this is when we get into some of the ad-libbing that went on. So Mike is telling them what happened to the girls. And it's the tall man. And now they're believing Mike from what he saw at the graveyard that time. You know, they've got evidence now. They believe him. And Reggie's ad-libbing. He's like, I see it. I see it now. What we got to do is snag that tall dude and stomp the shit out of him. And we'll find out what the hell is going on up there. We'll
Yeah, but
lay that sucker out flat and drive a stake right through his goddamn heart.
Yeah, but didn't they kind of believe him, or his brother believed him when he brought the finger?
Yeah, in the box.
Back-
Yeah.
Well, his brother
You
did.
can tell Reg,
And Reggie
old Reg did a
kind
lot
of
of
did.
LSD.
And
in
he
the
kind
70s.
of kind of skipped when that thing turned into like some weird fly too.
But Reg never really believed him until he had Tommy in the back of his ice cream truck, and then it got flipped over, and Reg survived and got away. So, yeah, that's when
Okay.
Reg really started believing, and Mike showed up. And then
Okay.
Mike's like, Mike, this wasn't ad lib. This was wrote in. You could tell Mike was scripted on this, but it doesn't matter in this movie. He's like, you got to be shitting me, man. That mother's strong. Because when he saw him pick up the casket and throw it in.
Nice. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna bug out here. I got to get up and move around for a little bit. I might hop
All right,
on,
man.
here in a little bit. Thanks
Yeah,
for
go
having
ahead.
me. This week I'm doing a tribute to Val and the Doors on my show. I think it's still at the same time, right,
Oh,
Steve?
hell yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's
Nice.
still at 4 p.m. right?
Awesome.
Yep. So it's just gonna be like a little hour show and everything.
Yeah, and since
Wait.
you got the hour show, Mary's is going to be a replay right after you, and then
Okay.
you'll have the replay of Ace and then Grandpa right after that.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome.
So it's a big Saturday on the radio. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sweet. I
All
got to
right,
work
so
that
and-
night.
in
That's
this
when I'll
movie
listen.
with the rating, of course, dude, I'm gonna say it's a 1 PBR. because I love the movie. I don't need
Love
to
it,
be
Murph.
drunk to see it. And I feel like I need to be sober to really take the whole thing in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. If you're
So,
not sober, you'll miss a lot on this film.
yeah, yeah. And it's like it's a fever dream of a movie already. I think if I was drunk or even buzzed watching this movie, it would take away from the cerebral experience of the whole
Yep.
thing. So,
Okay,
I
so
agree 100%.
before Murray bugs out, though, in 2 weeks, what do you guys want to do for a movie?
Oh.
Now, should we spin, or would you guys, since he passed away, should we do a tribute to Val?
we could definitely do Val.
I wouldn't mind doing a tribute to Val.
Yeah.
You want to do? I mean, when I think Val, I think Tombstone. Or either that or Willow, which we've already done Willow on Living in the Past.
Well,
but,
we could cover a lot of them, dude.
Yeah, we could cover Val's greatest moments.
Yeah, because you got Real Genius, you got Top Secret, you
guys,
got Wonderland.
I'm good with doing even a whole. I'm good with doing a whole show on his character in Tombstone because for me that just.
Oh yeah.
Nothing ever topped that.
And if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. That I'm Your Huckleberry, was that ad-libbed?
No, because the line is "I'm your hucklebearer."
Bear, not Barry. Everybody
but
thinks
he
it's
said
Barry
Huckleberry, right?
No. That's the accent.
But everybody
it's
thought
Hucklebear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I always thought it was Huckleberry. Yeah.
Well, Hucklebearer is
somebody who
the handle on a casket back then is what they called it. The Huckleberry.
Okay.
It's a huckle. Yeah.
But that is like one of the most famous lines ever.
Yeah. And everybody mispronounces it because it's supposed to be Hucklebearer, which means I'm going to carry you to your grave.
And I believe Val Kilmer's
that makes more
book
sense.
is called "I'm Your Huckleberry." Like he
Yeah.
actually said, "I'm your Huckleberry," but that's not the line. It's
that's not actually what it's his accent in the film that makes it sound like Barry.
Yeah, because I thought he said, "I'm your Huckleberry" for 20 fucking years, and then it's like, no, it's Hucklebearer, and then somebody explained to me what
Exactly.
it was.
And it was even cool later in the film when he goes, "Why, Johnny Ringo, you look like someone walked on your grave." Like, dude, and you're like, oh yes,
dude. I
You're
think,
no Daisy at all.
I think Doc is. I think it's his best role. I was gonna go with Jim Morrison, but dude, his Tombstone was such an incredible movie. It still is.
So you just want to cover Tombstone as a tribute to Val?
Yeah. Someday I'd like to do Turbo Kid. I think that'd be a really
I
did
check it out, and that robot chick was kind of cute, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Apple.
It's weird, yeah.
You know, I mean, she was kind of annoying, but and the gore. I think the gore. I like Turbo Kid because it caught me so off guard. Like I didn't know anything about it. Somebody turned me on to it, and it was like an '80s throwback, and it just was so over the top. I thought it would be great, but I am 100% down with a Val night.
Let's do a Val tribute next week, and then or not 2 weeks from now. Sorry, and then
if I'm not totally overwhelmed, I'll make an intro because it's Val. He was one of my all-time favorite actors. I mean, he's in my top 5, and I'm being honest. I've loved everything he's done. And
maybe do it kind of like just a clip show. I mean, he has so many great moments. Well,
we'll have all kinds of clips in there.
Val is one of those actors to me that whenever he was in a movie, I don't see Val Kilmer anymore. I see the character he became.
No, Val was one of the rare actors that created a character you remembered, not the actor.
Yeah,
he didn't have that movie star persona where it's like oh, that's Mel Gibson.
He wasn't a Tom Cruise. He was.
I'm glad Murray said Tom Cruise because somebody mentioned. I saw a video. Somebody mentioned. They said that he was the perfect villain or the counterpart to Tom Cruise in Top Gun, right?
Yeah.
Because you could not have an ugly villain in Top Gun, right? Because immediately everybody would have hated him. You had to have somebody that was better looking than Tom Cruise to be the bad guy.
cooler than
cooler.
Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? Val Kilmer right there.
Val Kilmer. And he tore it up. And not only that, Murray and I watched that Top Gun Maverick. And I'm sorry, that scene when he didn't talk and he typed on the screen and didn't say a word for the majority of that scene was still one of the greatest scenes he ever did.
Absolutely.
I think that was the best scene.
Well, guys,
in the movie.
guys, we need to save this for the next podcast. Now, we're
we're going. We'll have a whole 2 hours.
Yeah.
But all right, guys,
Murr's legs are gonna give out on him. He's gonna fall on the floor on us. And
that's right.
Yeah, Murr's gonna be like, guys.
All right, so I'll send you guys a message that I got up and out of here. All right, so you guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys around the way then, man.
All
right, have fun in Middleton.
Yeah, no problem.
Middleton, the Middleton.
The middle piece.
At the sexist dealer.
Yes, let me remove.
But anyway, where were we, Trav? Let's wrap up the Phantasm.
We were just at the ad-libbing. Whenever Mike runs back to the house, yeah.
Yeah, and they decide to go take on the tall man.
Yep, they're going back to the mortuary. And, Mike goes back. Well, actually, Mike goes back, and he locks Jody in his bedroom, remember? With the screwdriver trick that wouldn't have worked because the door opened the wrong way. If the door opened this way, it would have worked. But but it's still creative what they did, because Mike's sitting there, he's like, he's trapped in his room.
Shotgun shell. Yeah, he's very, very inventive,
Okay, wait, we got to put
Kevin McAllister before Home Alone.
We got to put a disclaimer out now. Don't try this at home, folks.
Not that we have.
Backwoods. Unless you're from the backwoods, but you need to put a piece of pipe over your hammer or it's going to go everywhere. It's not going to work. So anyway, he takes a shot.
Sounds like you personally know this, Travis.
I know the way artillery works. If you just have a shotgun shell and strike the primer, the brass is going to fly. The lead's heavier than the brass. It's not going to go anywhere. Like he was using a hammer, so if you strike it with a hammer with a thumbtack, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to branch out. With a shotgun shell, you have to have something to control that blast to make it go. Yeah, you got to make that blast go forward. But it's great for the movie. But what kid's going to have a 3-inch piece of pipe set in his bedroom too? So anyway, he's got tape. He's got a thumbtack. He tapes the thumbtack to the hammer. He tapes the shotgun shell to the tack, to the hammer, and then hits his doorknob. Actually, he doesn't even hit the doorknob. You just see smoke and magic, and then the doorknob actually opens up. Anyway, it's still a great scene. And the background music-wise doing it, all that's going on. It's great.
Yeah.
And the music was done by Michael Mancini, if I remember right. Am I correct on that, Cody?
Fantastic Phantasm score.
Yes.
This is one of those movies,
Yes.
It's one of those. I mean, it's right up there with a John Williams score. The music in this, the score is almost as big of a character, or even maybe dare I say bigger a character than any character in the film.
Can you imagine if it would have been "Here, come here, boy"?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have Murr back then. It wouldn't have worked. Sorry, it was Fred Myron and Malcolm Seagrave did the musical score on these Phantasm films.
Yes.
I mean, throughout the whole series, though, it's just an iconic theme. It's right up there with Halloween or Jaws or any of the other great John Williams greats. It really sets the tone for the film, and I really don't think the film would have been, even though it's a great visually, it's great. It still wouldn't have been the hit it was without the score.
I
firmly believe.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like I hear some movies that get close to the score. I'm like, you motherfuckers better be paying Don Coscarelli a little bit of money right there, because.
And that's not taking away from the writing at all, because
no.
I mean, even you got all these guys. Bill Thornbury was a professional actor, Angus Scrimm was, but the rest of the cast, like I said, it was just pretty much friends of Don Coscarelli.
Yeah,
and a really young guy, Michael Baldwin, which he's he was a kid. He wasn't a great actor then. Not that he ever became a really great actor. But that being said, it's still so believable the friendship between uh,
all the cast members,
Reggie and Bill Thornsberry and A. Michael Baldwin. It's you know the you know, you can tell that it's like you believe these people really hang out in real life, and
yeah.
and it makes you root for them. And just like the scenes that he throws in, like of Reggie and Bill Thornsberry jamming out on the porch with the guitars, you know, it just it's like with the whole thing of
oh yeah, we forgot to cover that.
And they were actually playing too.
Hot as love.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hot as love, baby. But yeah, well, another one of my favorite scenes from the movie when they're doing that, because it just, you know, it just really makes you connect with the characters that much more and makes them more realistic. But I really want to see the 3-hour cut, because they say that's the main thing that got cut out of it. Don, the main thing cut out was more character development between the three of them. And
a lot of it was put into the later on films too, when you had the cutback.
Yeah, well, especially part 4, Oblivion, when they used a lot of the cut scenes, which was they did that so masterfully in part 4, which I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, I'd like to stay on these as soon as we can.
Yes, and I do promise that special thing you guys wanted me to do will.
Yeah, what we talked about on the last show, guys.
We
might as well give a little explanation to that.
Z, that sounded nasty.
Yeah.
What? That it will come to light?
That special little thing you guys wanted me to do.
Okay.
It's coming.
Well, that thing you wanted me to do, no.
Murray's listening. He's like, damn it, I got off too soon.
To give it the explanation, okay, I did a lot of hours of work on this thing. Basically, the main part was separating all the audio to the parts to do to the characters. So that way, when you add the sound to the animated character, it allows them to lip sync the part, right? That's why you separate the audio. Okay.
Well,
that's what took forever.
They don't know what you're doing yet, Z.
Okay.
What Z's doing is our original podcast we done back in 2016.
I was
we did a skit to it. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
And Z is going to make a cartoon out of our skit we did.
Yeah, it was basically a radio play that me and Trav started doing. It was going to be a radio play, and once I sent it to Z, he's like, "We got to make a cartoon out of this." And I said, go for it.
I had probably, I want to say, half to 3/4 of it completed at that point. And Windows 11, now, if you guys know, I built a new computer, Windows 11, big one. Now, Windows 11 forces you to use what's called Microsoft OneDrive. That's the online storage, right? I'm still not used to it, because I'm still used to Windows 10, where you can force it to be like on your hard drive, your physical hard drive here. So something happened where I was rendering. Now, I still have all the files that I used, but the rendered stuff went on OneDrive. Something happened where those files are no longer there. I went in to go work on it, and I looked, and they're not there. And I took a screenshot, and I was so mad. I sent it to Cody. All those hours of work I did gone, including the original opening that I did for this show. And yesterday, I had to scramble and just make a quick opening yesterday. But I still have one of the pictures that I was using, because there's this, I don't want to blow the scene, but there's a scene with Travis, okay? In the CUDA, okay? And you would see something like this. Okay? Right? But I'm not going to tell you what he's doing. You can use your imagination, but
that's never been seen out of my CUDA before that I used to have. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's let's just say that scene, I wish to God somebody could have seen that finished scene, because it was so hilarious. Okay?
But
it would have been, but I will
eventually.
I know what I did. I'm going to work on it again. It's just, at least this time, I have time. to work on it now.
Yes.
So I'm not under
Yeah.
a certain period of time to get it done this time. But I'll be honest,
Well,
here when it was gone, after all that time, I'm exhausted. I'm just with everything with Vortex and that and doing this. I need a break before I work on it.
Yeah. Well, that's like you were when you mentioned that. Like, we were talking about this after a show one time, and then you were like, "Oh yeah, Coach. Oh yeah, I'll send it." And you were like, "Dude, I'll make a cartoon of that. Yeah, I can get that ready for that show." And I'm like, "You haven't listened to this yet, Z. This was
I didn't know it was a half an hour long. I'm like, oh my
This
God.
was a shit show we put together where we all recorded it in the same room. There was so much of us over talking and everything else. I mean, I'm like, this is going to be a nightmare to do this with.
Because, I was sitting here thinking the whole time, yeah, this won't be too bad. And then Cody was sending it to me and he goes, well, damn, it was working before. And I'm like, oh God, no.
Oh no. Well, we recorded with the only other person that wasn't in the room with us. That recorded
Z.
remotely was Dave Z off of a Banana Laser podcast.
The other Z, yeah.
And I had it all edited out on Audacity to where I dropped all his parts in, and I had it ready to where all you had to do is put the sound effects in and the score in the background. And something happened with the new version of Audacity that I downloaded where it offset all of Dave Z's parts, and they were blended. They weren't in line with all ours, so nothing made sense. So Z had to go fix all that too.
Yeah, see, and I don't want to blow the story, but I mean, I showed you one clip where something happens that takes you somewhere. I had that all done. I think I showed you that clip, if I remember right, though.
Yeah.
I just don't want to blow the story for everybody else.
The Wizard of Oz part,
yeah. So it's going to be cool when it's done. So we'll make an event out of it. So yeah,
definitely.
It will be its own special, I promise. So
yeah,
cool. But anyway,
red carpet ceremony too.
Sweet.
Okay, go ahead. Back to Phantasm.
But we're getting to the end. So
yeah, so Jody goes to the mausoleum, and he's got to check his parents' tombs. So he opens it up, but he can't look. He just can't look. Well, Mike shows up. Mike opens up. Long story short, the spears show up, and Jody takes one of them out with a 12 gauge, and it looked great on film. But this was one of the easiest things they did on film with the spears. All it was they hung a Christmas ball and they shot it with a 12 gauge shotgun in that corridor. That's all it was.
Okay.
And it was great because it showed the spear flying, and then it cuts back to Jody with the 12 gauge. He pulls the trigger, and then it shows it, and it blows up. With the spears, I mean, for what they had, if you think about it, look today how hard it would be to make these flying spears. And back then, all they did, like when they were running, they actually had the spears and they threw them past them, and that's how they recorded them.
Well, they throw them past them and then they reverse the film, so it looked like they were flying toward them.
Oh well, yeah. And if they took a hit scene like one that hit them, they would have them up here,
and they just throw them away. Yeah,
throw them away, and they would reverse it. And then for the other ones where they went around corners, they had them on a rod and they were up above it, and they just spun them around, and it looks so good. I love the spear work and all of it.
See how easy it is today to have a spear going on the screen.
Look, it's almost it's fixing to get Cody in the ear. Whoop.
And then
he dodged it.
And look, mother.
I almost, and I wish I would have done it. Reggie and Gigi a few years ago had a few of the movie props that they were selling, and I could have bought one of the spears for like $250 that was actually a movie prop spear, and I didn't do it.
I was looking at one for a picture, and you're looking like a couple grand now. Yeah.
I wish I would have bought all the Phantasm crap that I chickened out on back then, but yeah, and then
hindsight's 2020.
Then Reggie finds them in the mortuary, and they wind up going into the space gate room. There they hear the humming, and you see the outline of light, and they go in there and there's all these barrels stacked up. Now these barrels were actual barrels that were intended for toxic waste use. So they didn't make these barrels for nothing. That's actually how those barrels were. They were created. I don't know how Don got a hold of them with such a low budget, because I imagine even back then a barrel like that would be pretty pricey.
Well,
but here,
to give you an
Go
idea,
ahead.
up here, the town I'm from, and in Wisconsin, you can
Yeah.
get those pretty cheap. Because
Yeah.
we've got places where you can get those. Yeah. So
Oh, really?
honestly, I would say
They've
it's
got a
not
lot
too
of
bad.
toxic waste up there, Trav.
Okay, yeah, true.
Well, we've got
that's how they make all the. Well, the
we've
cheese
got-
curds is a byproduct of the toxic waste, so I can
No,
see.
well, in my
In fact,
hometown,
Wisconsin has so much toxic waste they call it New Jersey.
and we dump it all downhill into Illinois and Missouri and stuff. Yes.
Dump it
but
into
no.
Mississippi. It comes down.
That's why
Yes.
Illinois is such a fucked up state. I'm
No.
seeing now. It's making sense.
Well, no. The company that's in my old hometown, it's a biology plant. They make stuff like for biology classes in schools. So like when you dissect a pig, or like owl pellets or frogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the place that supplies it for the schools and stuff.
Gotcha.
If that makes
Okay,
sense.
cool.
And of course you're gonna have some waste, which is like hazardous waste from that. So
Yeah.
you need that stuff. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Then like when Mike's investigating the space gate, you just got two chrome rods sticking up, and you see that film where his hand goes by. It's whoop, whoop. I love the sound effect of that too.
Yeah.
And then he investigates a little farther. That's like super easy, but complicated at the same time. It's all mirrors. That's one reason the room is white, because originally the room wasn't going to be white, but they figured out with the mirrors, if you had a white room, you could use the mirrors for that effect where it looks like you're going through and disappearing, going through the space gate. So that's why they did the all white room.
Yes.
But Don had this and the ending he was stuck on. Don had the space gate with the chrome rods, and he's like, I just can't figure this out. How do these work? Reggie come up with, he's like, hey, Don, because Reggie's a musician, and Reggie had a tuning fork. He's like, man, look, they're like a tuning fork, brother. They work off vibrations. And twang. And Don's like, Reggie, you're a genius. This is it. So that's why you always hear when you get close to the space gate and then the Phantasm, that's Reggie Bannister right there. You hear them, they work off of vibrations. And so that's where they come up with that, because Don was stuck. Like he had everything figured out for the movie. They were filming and they got to this spot and he's like, I don't know how these work. So that was pretty cool. And again, if you're a huge Phantasm fan, you love them. They're not that expensive anymore. The Blu-rays have a crap ton of behind the scenes information on them. They're well worth the money.
I did see a video for some behind the scenes thing, the mirror part that you were talking about with that effect. They did say that it also helped because of the white room. The mirrors also reflected more light and made it seem brighter.
Yes.
Also because it reflected light off of all the mirrors and everything too. So yeah.
Yep. And then the scene where the lights go out, boom, and it's dark. Remember that scene at the ending? It says just dark, and you hear them talking. Hey, what's going on? When that scene originally for 10 years was out of what was put out for the public to buy. It was a editing mistake by the company that was supposed to be in, but it got cut out when it went to market. And just when they revamped it, it come back on to where it's in there.
So is that in the remastered then, or?
Yes, it's in the remastered. If you have an original copy, like where it goes out, they cut that and move straight to the scene where everything's going chaotic, everything's getting sucked in.
Because remember how I said I fell asleep towards the end of the movie?
Yeah.
Like this, I was watching the remastered, so I didn't see
the
dark one, but so I saw the original.
If you watch the original, that scene was cut out. That was a mistake.
Okay, so that's why I've never seen that. Okay, all right.
So yeah,
big shout out to J.J. Abrams with his Bad Robot films for doing the 4K remaster. And
yes, they did a great job.
J.J. Abrams, you may have totally fucked Star Wars for us, but we'll we'll give you a pass on that. Just because you
sorry.
gave us a 4K Phantasm.
I was a little off on that. Okay. When it first went to, I guess it
At
was
least that's what Henry fucking
VHS.
Rollins said.
When it was first released on VHS.
Okay.
When it was first released on VHS, that's when it was out. They didn't have the
Okay.
blackout scene. But when they decided to do it for Laserdisc, Don caught it. So when it came out on Laserdisc, he's like, it's missing a scene. So that's when they added this whole scene back in when they released it on Laserdisc. So anything you bought past Laserdisc should have the scene in it, unless you have one of the originals that was released.
Gotcha.
Yeah, then Reggie figures out, here's the humming, and he puts his hands on the space gate, and it just shuts it down. And this is when we get trippy. Shit starts cracking.
I think Reggie was already, to be honest, Reg was already tripping at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you see all the wind. Everybody's trying to get outside, get away from the mortuary. And they almost lost a crew member in this because they had these big-ass fans set up, to make all the wind and leaves.
Oh, and Bill Thornsberry thought it'd be funny to throw some fucking rocks into him.
No. That was A. Michael Baldwin, the kid.
Oh, it was him. I thought it was Bill Thornsberry that did.
No, they said A. Michael Baldwin was a dick on set, but he was a kid playing pranks back then. Yeah, that was in some of my other notes too that I lost. But yeah, said he'd throw gravel into the fans, and so a lot of the scenes you see people going, ah, yeah, they're not really acting; it's because they're getting hit with shit that hurts. But now one of the crew members, it was cold. Because like I said, they had the front of the mortuary for one day and one night, and it was cold when they were doing it. So these big ass fans, so they were filming this, and one of the crew members had a scarf, and his freaking scarf got hung in the fan, and it almost got him. I mean, I forgot what they said, how they got him out of it, but yeah, much longer it would have got him, but they got him out of it.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, then we get the lady in lavender again, who stabs Reg.
Okay.
And Reg is dying, you think. And then it flashes back. It's the tall man. Then it's the lady in lavender. Then it's the tall man again.
Because he likes to play games.
Yeah. So then Mike gets out. So does Jody. They're back at home. They're resupplying again. He tells Mike to go upstairs and get ready. Well, the tall man's up there waiting for him. So he sees him in the window, turns around to run, and all of a sudden he busts through this glass. Well, that was another thing. That was a scene that was shot much later. If you notice, Don wanted to do something completely different for this scene. I can't remember what it was. I had it in my old notes, but I've lost them. But after Angus's last scene, Don was like, yeah, we're done filming with you. We don't need anything else. So Angus got a haircut. Because you remember in all the other, Angus had, the chop down to here. So in this scene, Angus had high. That's why you only see him up against the wall. The camera's up like that. It's to help hide that. In the very ending scene.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I left out the flying door scene. Where Mike coming in, where he's in the kind of the dark blue room. Right before we get to the glass breaking and all that crap. But that door scene, it's kind of an iconic scene where the door flies by Mike, comes straight out. Now, in the new digital version, you can't see it, but if you go to the original, you'll actually see a crew person's 2 fingers sticking around the door. And if you look really close, right at the bottom of the door, you'll see a foot when they take off. Now, that was a super simple shot to film. All they did was had a crew member sitting here back, hugged against the wall. That's why the room was that color, because it hit everything. And he takes off running and turns the camera or turns the door just a little bit and runs past the camera.
Well, you're really getting in deep on those camera shots. Wow.
Oh, dude, this is the tip of the iceberg. I've got so much information. I'm trying to keep it down to at least a 3-hour show.
Yeah, Steve, my usual deep dives on shit, how I OCD kicks in on everything I'm interested in, and I go to I don't hold a candle to Trav on this one, and I've loved this series since my early teens, and it's one of my favorites. Not necessarily my favorite of all time, but it's right up there.
And also on this scene is where Mike gets ready to run, and Angus is just standing there with his arms behind him. And then one of his iconic lines, "You play a good game, boy, but the game is finished. Now you die." And then we get the chase scene through the woods. But Cody, I don't know if you ever noticed this. There's a lot of ties that kick back to Nightmare on Elm Street on this. You remember when Mike's running and he's getting hung up in the mud?
Oh yeah, Wes Craven. I firmly believe Wes Craven ripped off a bunch of shit from this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but also think how many nightmares have been like that, where you try to run away from a creature or the bad guy, and they're catching up to you, but you can't run fast enough to get away. That's a very common nightmare, though.
Yeah. Well, they're getting hung up in the mud, just like the steps were in Nightmare on Elm Street. They turned into sludge, and she couldn't get up the steps. So this is one of them in here.
Yeah.
There's several little nuances in here that I could go on that they kind of ripped off on there. And then they set up the mine shaft. The tall man falls in it, and then they dump the rocks on him, and you think it's over. But then we cut back to Mike and Reg by the fire. And you're like, what the fuck is this? We thought Reggie was dead. He just got stabbed.
It was all a dream. Yeah. Or was it?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped on one scene. That's not where the mirror breaks and he had the wrong haircut.
Or was it Memorex?
Yeah. And he tells Mike, hey, Jody died in a car wreck, man. He said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of you, man. He said, well, we just need to get some different scenery, man. We got to get out of here. He's like,
you gotta love Reg.
Let's go on a road
Always
trip.
Be optimist.
Oh yeah, so let's go on a road trip. So they plan. It's like you go upstairs. Get your bags packed, get ready. First thing in the morning, we're cutting this scene. So he goes upstairs, and Reg is down there. This is the very end of the film. Reg's down there playing his guitar, and by the time he shuts the door, and there's the mirror with the tall man on it. And you get the boy, and then the minions come through the glass and grab him and pull him through.
Yeah, great and iconic.
Yeah, well, that is the one I was telling Z. I'm sorry, I was on the wrong scene, Z.
Yeah.
Where the tall man thought he was done because Don told him, "Yeah, we're done filming with you, Angus." So Angus got a haircut. So that's the reason why you see Angus and the camera so low, panned up looking at him, because Angus didn't have his tall man hair anymore. He had through the whole film. He had the high and tight bowl cut then. But yeah. And then that is the end of Phantasm 1.
Yeah.
Which I could talk about for hours.
I mean, and that's the thing. This movie, it's not a B movie. That's the first thing I want to say. A lot of people, because it's an indie film shot on a small budget, that they throw it right into the whole B movie exploitation film sort of genre. But it's not. There are so many layers to this, and so many ways you can interpret it. It's just brilliant writing, brilliant filmmaking. And to me, the whole movie is just a metaphor for death and processing grief. Just like with A. Michael Baldwin's character, he, at the end, whenever he wakes up and finds out that Reggie's alive, and he's telling them, "Hey, no, you just had a dream. It was all a dream." And it would make sense. A kid who just lost his parents and his
brother
and his older and his brother. Basically all the family, his closest family that he knew, and he's still having nightmares about this. And then he has a dream. Of course, in the dream, Reggie, the guy who's the other person who he's closest to, who's taking care of him, gets killed in the dream. So yeah, greatest fear. Terrible nightmare.
Yeah.
losing everybody that's close to him. So,
yeah, we forgot to cover that in the beginning that he'd lost his parents too.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, and I'm just glad that, which I don't know, with the 3 hour, if we ever get the 3 hour cut of it, it may over explain it, may ruin it for us. I don't think so. I have more
don't think
faith
it
in
will.
Don Coscarelli, but I love the ambiguity of this film, and like I said, it's just left up to interpretation. But you get there's enough of a backbone to the plot that you get the gist of what's going on, although it's sometimes non-linear, it feels like, but it's still a cohesive story, and you still connect with these characters.
Yeah.
So do we want to do ratings?
Yeah,
Are
that
we
sounds
ready?
good.
I'll start off. This one,
Okay.
It's a hard one because this thing's such a trip. You're like, yeah, I probably need to drink a few beers for it, but then you got to be balanced. You want to be focused on this or you're going to miss shit. So I'm going to give this one 4 PBRs because it's you need a little movie watching fluid for this one to try to just get into the flow of it because it's so far out there. But there's also so much going on that you don't want to be too impaired or you're going to miss some really important shit. So yeah, 4 PBRs, and this is one of the greatest horror films ever made. It introduces iconic characters, and there's never been anything done quite like it. So,
nope.
Often duplicated or often imitated, never duplicated. I meant to say, but yeah. And now I'm just psyched up to go on and tackle the rest of the series because it's just a fantastic franchise. This might have to be, which we'll space it out a little bit. This might have to be our summer of Phantasm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's 4 more films, so.
Which year before last we did our Backwoods Horror Show Goes to Camp series during the summer. This could be our summer of Phantasm.
And I'll be honest, I've only seen the first one, so.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
You're in for a
serious,
trip,
yeah.
So the second one's going to catch you off guard then.
Because it's the only studio film.
Yep. And you can tell it. It's still good. And some people say it's their favorite, but all right, Z, so what's your rating on?
Well, you guys will probably be upset with me.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Probably a 6-pack.
Yeah.
6-pack, and I'll explain why. I didn't dislike the movie. Okay. I thought the story was awesome. Okay. Great idea for a horror movie. It really was. But the only thing I didn't like about it is I thought the movie was all over the place. The way they filmed it. And the way you guys described how they would do it on the weekends and stuff like that, it kind of makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Because it was really kind of hard to follow in a way.
Well, it's supposed to be though. It's supposed to be like a dream. The whole movie is supposed to feel like a dream.
Yeah.
That's why everything seems so disjointed and all over the place. That was actually intentional.
Don Coscarelli's first cut was actually going to be a dream sequence. Was his first idea because it was supposed to end at him and Reggie by the fireplace, and then Don didn't like it, so that's why he went to the second and he never really meant to do a continuation, but he decided to go that route with it.
Yeah, and then
he had such a bad experience with Beastmaster. He's like, okay, I'm going back to what I like.
Yeah, and then the tall man ending up being an alien. I could picture them when they were writing it. Well, how are we going to end it and make it kind of weird to throw off the audience?
That's never really established either. I mean, where exactly where he comes from or exactly what he is. He's not necessarily an alien. We don't know. He's
interdimensional being. Is
yeah.
what he's kind of established as later.
It kind of made me think like Stephen King kind of got an idea that for it, off of that.
Yeah.
But
like here's somebody that's been around, because like
could've.
you know, like how when they saw the picture and it's the 1800s and you know Grimm was still around, right?
True.
which it ripped that off too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was the same way. It was there's pictures of it way back in the old days too, you know, and
Yep.
it just made me feel like all these different like horror writers were ripping each other off on stuff,
Yep.
you know. So,
But Phantasm did it first.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't, how can I say it? But like I said, I don't dislike the movie. The only reason I'm saying a 6-pack is I just need it to help slow me down a little so I can watch it a little slower. You know, does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yeah.
To try to follow it.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
like I said, it
totally
was all over
understandable.
the place. Especially in the beginning. It was all over the place in the beginning. It was like, okay, wait a minute. The kid just was in the motorcycle. It stalled in the graveyard. There were Jawas running around. What the hell's going on? And, oh, wait, he was just over there. Now there's a thingamajiggy. Why wasn't the little kid at the funeral? Why is there? Wait a minute. Why is the kid working on the car? Like this and stuff like this, you know. That, and it's just throwing me off. And like, hey, who's that hot chick in there? Why'd she stab that guy? I don't know what the hell's going on, you know? I was just confused. Okay.
Yeah.
Same way I was the
I
first
can
time
guarantee, I can guarantee, Steve, you are going to love Phantasm 2 because it is it's much more of a
And
80s action.
And 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and 3 and 4 and it's much more of an action road trip horror movie. It's and the special effects are great too.
I will give it this though, for the time when it came out, it was different than a lot of the movies that were
It
coming
still
out at
is.
the time.
There still hasn't been anything quite like Phantasm.
Yeah.
No,
the only
not
thing
really,
that
no.
I can kind of compare it to, it's not the same storyline or anything, but the only thing I can kind of compare it to for the feeling watching it is Salem's Lot. It had the same kind of feeling to me watching Salem's Lot. It
I
had
could
that
see
same
that.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's my rating. So,
But
well,
don't worry, Steve. As we continue on our Phantasm journey, you also will fall in love with the Regmeister.
got it.
Yeah.
The Phantasmic Summer.
Well,
Fantasmic
whatever
Summer.
whatever happened
Summer.
to the Muppet Phantasm movie? Yeah,
That would be so great. That would be so great.
Yeah. What are you doing here, boy?
Don's probably like, after I die, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he can't do it right now because right now Reggie could still make a comeback and go kick Don's ass if he signed off on that. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, if they were to continue it now, who would play the tall man? Who could you see doing it?
oh wait, hold it. We can't get off to this because this is
Okay.
like this is going to be one of our questions for 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. All right. So then what's your rating?
So I'll give you all that after we get done here. My rating is a Backwoods horror first, and this is very strange coming from me or Cody.
He's not going to drink.
A 0. I need 0 beer to watch this film. I've grown up. I started on the second one, and I Z, when you were naming that, it was like the first time I watched the first one because I started on the second one, and I was 9, 10, 11, somewhere around there when I saw it.
So it would have been the late 80s, right? Late 80s.
Yeah, early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so this is the second one. I got to find the first one. Well, it threw me off because we had 2 different mics. I'm like, what is this? You know, this is not right. And I'm like, okay. So I really didn't pay attention to the first one much, and I jumped to the third one the next weekend. You know, you got to remember, this is before internet. You couldn't just click on your TV and watch what you wanted to.
You had to actually go rent it or wait for it to pop on HBO.
So I rented 3, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Mike's back, you know, in 3. So then it took a while for me to finally figure it. I couldn't look nothing up on Google. Google wasn't the thing back then.
Nope.
So, you know, I'm like, why did they get a different actor for Mike in the second one? You know, so the first one I just kind of wrote off and didn't pay attention to it for a while. So I pretty much watched 2, 3, and 4. And then when I got a little older and I started watching, then I got the DVD of 1, And I'm like, wow. And then I got the behind the scenes, and then I got more into it and the way the story goes. That's when it set in with me. One, how creative it is, and it's Don Coscarelli's style. You can go so many different ways in a film and leave you guessing. I mean, look at Bubba Hotep. I love that film of his. It's wild. Elvis in a retirement home. Yeah. So yeah, I've got to give this one a 0. Not a perfect movie, but as perfect as I can think of one to be. So yeah, I give it 0
For a
PBR. I can watch this.
$300,000 movie, yeah, it's right up
Yeah.
there with John Carpenter's Halloween. For
Made
me, it
by
really
a 23 to 25-year-old man. Yeah, very impressed.
who did it all, wrote, directed, edited.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's surprising. You said 0. That's really surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I'm a bit of a Phantasm nerd too.
Surprising,
so I'm a little biased,
but in a way expected, because, well, the way you keep
Yeah.
talking about it, we know how much of a fan you are of that movie too. So yeah.
Well, and if you look on the back row there, the whole top row is nothing but Phantasm stuff. Oh, one thing I showed you guys before we started, but Cody, you remember the Garbage Pail Kids?
Of course.
The remake they did of them, they did this one. Let me try to get it in the camera. You can see it. Ain't that cool? I found that on eBay.
Check that out, boy.
Nice.
Yeah. And they called it Evil Ira. But little Jawas in the back, and then you got the spear with the eyeball. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I hope Don got a little something from that, because if not, he's got a copyright infringement there. But yeah,
this movie has been ripped off by so many things stolen from it by so many other horror directors. He's got screwed over so many times, but he still had a good career. He's done it his way too. He's only done a couple or like 4 maybe studio films, and he's been able to survive as an independent filmmaker. Maybe he hadn't been able to make a huge name for himself. Not like he's not another Spielberg or something, but he's done it his way, and he hasn't sold out. So
yeah, and
I will always respect Don Coscarelli for that.
And has made at least 2 cult classics, 1 cult classic franchise, and yeah, I mean, what more can a writer, director, and producer want than to just get 1 cult classic?
Yeah, do something that's going to be remembered forever. Yeah.
And this is one that's probably going to go on well after we're gone. People are still going to be talking about it. So.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, and before we get to news from the holler, real quick here, guys. Just a word for our sponsor right there, guys.
Yes.
Our
sponsor is joeshatco.com. Now,
joeshatco.com.
If you scan that QR code that's on the screen right now, it'll take you right to Joe's website. If you're looking for a custom hat, t-shirt, anything custom, talk to Joe. Joe's your man right there. Joe is not afraid to put anything on a hat or shirt. Trust me. This guy knows what he's doing. He does great work. And do us a favor, tell him when you go there that Vortex sent you. Okay? Definitely, 100% tell him. Okay? All right. Are you ready for some news then, my friend?
Let's get some news out of the way real quick.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. And we're waiting for that. Okay, all right. Why? And we're waiting. Hang on. Why is it not switching? Here we go.
Hey there, friend, got news to share from the holler where lands lake bare. Cordy's tales, they'll make you grin. For the moonshine, let's begin.
All right. This was one I didn't add to begin with, so bear with me here for a second. There we go. Look at that. We're going to make it nice and pretty. Here we go.
Now we're on here.
Yes.
So.
What is that? Okay. All right.
Come on up here, Steve. Come on.
I'm coming. There we go. There we go. Now we're set. Go ahead, Cody.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot tonight. There, sadly, wasn't a bunch of great news aside. Let's start off on a high note. John Carpenter yesterday finally got his star. No, today, John Carpenter got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So, about
That's
damn
cool.
time. That's all I got to say to that.
I'm surprised he didn't have one already.
Yeah, exactly.
About time. Nope.
Yep. It looks like the Mickey Mouse horror movie Screamboat had its theatrical premiere yesterday. So,
yeah. Oh, by the way, I saw you posted about the Popeye the Slayer Man, and I can tell you, everybody out there, don't waste your time. It is horrible. It is very horrible.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you got such a great property like that, and you're one of the first people to do it, I mean, if you don't make a fun movie, it's your own damn fault.
Exactly. Yep.
They should have hired Don Coscarelli to work with there.
You've got a built-in audience already. Don't fuck people over, or they are going to remember you.
Oh, and it was horrible. Go ahead.
The Megan 2.0 trailer just dropped.
I thought it looked interesting. Yeah, it looks interesting.
I still haven't watched the original Megan. My kids love it. My older kids.
It wasn't bad. I gotta say, I watched it and I waited till it started streaming. Megan just told enough to she could go fuck them up. Actually, kind of makes me think of a great movie, Megan 3, Pedo Hunter. Have her hunt down the pedos and take them out.
Or short circuit. Johnny Five alive.
Well, that wouldn't work. That would only
Johnny Five.
That wouldn't work. That wouldn't hold up in a court of law, because if they were short circuiting, that mean they would get penetration, and that would be considered baiting in a court of law, wouldn't it? So the pedos would get off.
It could, but dude, this Megan 2.0, I love the idea behind the story of this one.
Cody's like, where the fuck are you going with this?
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, moving along.
Yep.
Let it go.
So he's like, damn it, Vortex was just getting there, and I had to let Travis on here again. Shit.
Because Trav's just mad because Murray's not here, so he's not baiting.
I mean,
he's
trying
to bait me right now.
No fish.
I miss Murray.
But no,
I miss Grant Paul.
Since you brought that up, Cody, seriously, that is a great idea for a sequel, right? Because they put Megan in like this harmless little robot thingamajiggy that can't hurt a fly, right?
Yeah.
And the original is still like in another robot that they put in some like adult-looking female robot that's still bent on revenge on anybody that created this original Megan, right? But the original Megan, who's now all nice and like this, says, well, hey, if you put me back into another body, I'll protect you guys, only make me a little bigger and a little stronger and faster. And they have to basically trust the old Megan that she's going to protect them against this new Megan. I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool idea, you know?
Now, it just sounds like my first marriage.
Now, have you guys caught, what was the one with Megan Fox, where she was the robot?
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool movie. Yeah,
that was a good movie. You not seen it, Cody?
No,
Trav, you'd get in so much trouble with that thing, Trav.
I'd never leave home.
Yeah, if you would, first time she would walk in when you're taking a shower, she'd be like, could I make you feel better? You'd be like, why are you 10 minutes late? That would be you.
Oh, no, I'd be like, hey, Z, I need the shag carpet theme now. Send it to me, please. I need that zip file. Yep.
There you go. I can't be on the podcast tonight, guys.
Sorry. Then I'd come on the podcast and I'd have like a sling on her. Like, what happened to you? And my Android beat the shit out of me after I played that music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All we'd see is the back of an Android head going.
I can't remember the name of that movie. It
See,
was a
it's
damn
Trav.
good movie,
Trav,
though. I liked it.
Here you go, Trav. This is all we'd see is the back of an android head.
Are you kidding? If it was that sophisticated, all you see is me here. The whole podcast.
What's her name? Hoover. Yeah. Okay.
The Regina Steamer Vacuum Cleaner.
And she's got braces, so she's the Black and Decker Pecker Wrecker. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves has officially announced that he will be returning for John Wick 5, as well as a animated John Wick prequel. Will you please fucking stop?
I don't know. I haven't seen the fourth one, so I can't say yet.
I haven't seen the third one. I really enjoyed the first one, and then the second one, I was like, okay, they're just doing the same shit over again.
The fourth one, they pretty much ended the story on the fourth one.
But I gotta say, Keanu has kind of turned into Liam Neeson of our generation too. The way they keep
Liam Neeson still weren't around making shitty films like a Naked Gun remake.
I don't. The only thing I'll say about
I thought that was AI.
The only thing I'll say
No,
that
it's
was
real.
funny. The only thing that was funny about that is when they were looking at the pictures and they're all supposed to be like the sons of the originals, and the one guy looks at the OJ picture and he's like, no. Yeah, I thought that was funny, but come on, I don't know. I'll give it a chance because
those movies were supposed to be just stupid fucking comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a chance.
How they could continue them on. I mean,
I'll give it a chance because I was a Leslie Nielsen fan, and the guys who originally wrote that also wrote Airplane and stuff. They're from Milwaukee. They're from my home state. I'll give it a chance. But if Seth MacFarlane ruins one of my favorite franchise movies, right? I will find him. I have a set of skills.
Yeah,
I will find him.
Liam Neeson. I love Liam Neeson.
Help me, Travis. I will find him.
Liam Neeson has a wide range as an actor, but
that will make your life a nightmare.
Even like A Million Ways to Die in the West, I don't think
great movie. I actually like that one.
Yeah, but I don't think Liam Neeson is that great at comedy. He wants to be, but I don't think he is.
To a ditty party with no lube.
See, but Seth MacFarlane, he's one of those guys you want to like, but you want to punch him too.
Oh, he's a dick. Huge dick.
No, you want to kick him in his cock. Don't lie. Remember, we're not edited here. We can say what we feel.
I just, I think he's talented. You want to punch him.
Take your vaccine.
I got a bit of news here. Okay, I got from Voodoo
Muffin. You'll kill your
grandma
or grandmas if you don't take your vaccines. Fuck off, Seth MacFarlane.
Stop it!
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to make a show like Family Guy and then get to be a fucking uptight douchebag. You just don't.
Yeah, quit being a Temu Elon Musk.
I know, but we're not going to get political. We're talking about news.
So,
don't make my head get red.
X's Voodoo Muffin and a couple other sites, it says Bill Moseley has confirmed to reprise his role as Chop Top Sawyer in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre via Dead Online. But Bill Moseley, I did some research on this. Bill Moseley comments on there.
Is it just going to be in the video game?
No. This is the new Texas Chainsaw
which is
Massacre
free on
movie
the
coming out.
PlayStation Network this month, by the way.
Oh, really? I got to download it.
Yep.
But Bill Moseley got on there and chimed in on his official Bill Moseley X account. Says, news to me, but I'm all for it. So it's just spam news.
Well, I think, you know what? Why not?
I want to see Chop Top back.
They're remaking it. Hey, they're remaking everything else. Why not jump into that one too?
Might as well.
They're just ruining everything that we liked when we were younger anyway. They're going to do it to everything. So just get it over with,
Yeah. Before you know it, they're going to remake a short circuit.
Hey, Val Kilmer's gone. They're going to do Top Secret again. They're going to do it all over. You watch.
Oh, and Heat, Tombstone.
Dude,
I already see it. They're going to do Tombstone. and they're gonna get DJ Qualls to be Doc Holliday.
You can't ruin
You
a
just
movie
won me
that's
over, you son of a bitch.
Stop it!
that movie was already perfect. You can't. Oh,
Instead of I'm as fresh as a daisy, it'll be.
I mean,
I'm
they
as
already
fresh
said,
as a daisy,
dude. They already said they're going forward with Back to the Future. You can't. Why?
Fuck
you
them,
can't.
fuck
You
them,
can't
fuck them,
redo
fuck
a perfect movie.
How are they gonna do this? So Marty McFly is gonna run around doing this all the time.
He's gonna warn about the dangers of time travel. Yeah, don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna drive a time machine, Marty? You can't even sign a check.
Great Scott, Marty. Doc. Oh God.
Apparently, I hit the wrong button on the DeLorean. Now I'm off.
Doc, this is heavy. Doc. Shit. No, I can't do it. I like Michael J. Fox. I don't want to make fun of him.
Oh,
I
he's
do
a
too.
saint. I love him.
Yeah.
I poke. Hey, I don't discriminate. I poke fun at everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an equal opportunity guy. Yeah.
But
yes.
speaking of things we want to
I'm an
shit
equal
all
opportunity
over,
poker.
What fucking film production company? Anyway, the film production company behind the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake has announced that trailer will be coming soon. Oh, I love Pixar.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Okay.
That'd be great.
They're doing another.
But yeah, July 18th is the official release date. So yeah, you better get us a trailer pretty fucking soon because that's coming up pretty soon. So, which leads me to believe it's going to be a shit show. But we got Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. back for it. So, a legacy sequel, you know,
grizzled or not, Jennifer Love Hewitt, I'd still.
Yeah,
I still wouldn't kick her out of my house. No.
Yeah, but you know,
hey, low hanging fruit. Oh, fruit. Shit, I'm drunk. Low hanging fruit is still pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'd look at her and be like,
"Give me your address there."
Yeah.
That being said, the originals, I've rewatched them in the last several years, and as much as I liked them during the '90s, they haven't held up.
Cody's still trying to decipher what you just played.
No, it's
"Give me your address there."
I heard it. I heard it, and
all I know is Cody's address is confusing
message.
As hell. So go ahead. Yep.
But yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Legacy. Why not? They've already fucked Scream for us and so many other franchises and Halloween with legacy sequels. So you know, let's fuck over one other franchise that I really don't give that much of a shit about. I don't care.
What are you waiting for?
The first one was awesome. The second one was okay. I was still young enough. It got me to go to the theater. But after the third, fourth, fifth,
the third one was just fucking horrible.
Oh wait, and the Bubble Guppies edition is what I would compare all to.
Stop it.
Anything after the second one was Bubble Guppies edition.
Well, there's only one. I will always Know What You Did Last Summer. That direct-to-video piece of shit. But the second one was still a fun slasher.
It wasn't horrible. It got me.
Let's face it. The first one, stylistically, it was kind of cool. It had a great all-star cast, but
plot was weak.
The plot's paper thin on it.
Yeah.
But it's a slasher, so you know I can be pretty forgiving about paper thin plots.
It had the right cast too, though. It was the perfect storm but you were driving Gilligan's Island yacht. So
if they'll bring back Sarah Michelle Gellar, even though she got killed in the first one, if they'll bring her back, which that pissed me off so bad because that movie came out the same year as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series.
Oh my God! Now you're talking Scream shit.
No, I'm not talking Scream.
Let's bring them back, even though they got killed.
No. He was just comparing because that came out when the Scream stuff.
Oh, I know what he's talking about, but now, Scream's bad about that shit.
But bring her back and have the rematch between her and the Fisherman, and have her kick his ass like she should have in the first one, because that pissed me off so bad. That was such a mind fuck, because I'd watched the first season of Buffy, and I'm like, she's a badass, and then she gets took out by this guy like it's nothing. I'm like, she would have killed him like in in fucking 30 seconds.
She's
And
not
this
Buffy
guy
in this
just
film.
no,
she's
she's
not
not
Buffy in
Buffy, and
this
it pissed
film.
me off. My 17-year-old brain could not comprehend that.
But
So, let's have that rematch. They did it with the Scooby-Doo movie. They made her a badass in the Scooby-Doo movie.
But honestly, if they made that movie, do you want to know what the movie would be like?
Tell you grew up watching Jeff Bridges.
It's going to be a shit pile anyway.
Yes. He grew up watching Jeff Bridges. He's the same character in every movie he plays.
But Jeff Bridges is a good actor, though.
No, he's not.
He's the dude.
No, that's the only movie he done good where he's a different character. All of his other films,
he took on King Kong.
Same character.
He did.
He took on King Kong.
Yeah, but from Tron to all the way to that to all the Rooster Cogburn to since he done Rooster Cogburn, every Western he's in, he's Rooster Cogburn. It's even R.I.P.D. It's just I don't like Jeff Bridges.
I can't argue with you, Trav. I still love him, but I can't argue with you on that.
I don't like him.
Moving on, and speaking of the Scooby-Doo live-action movie, Linda Cardinelli, the Velma from the Scooby-Doo movie, has officially been... She's
gorgeous, dude. She is gorgeous. Velma's supposed to be kind of nerdy. She's hot.
She played Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers movies. But she has officially been cast in A24's Crystal Lake as Pamela Voorhees. Wow.
Yeah,
as Mama Voorhees?
Yeah, I didn't even know that thing. I thought it had been scrapped. I didn't even know it was still a thing. But apparently it is. If it ever sees the light of day.
Wait. Now, Hot Velma is Mama Voorhees.
Hot Velma is Mama Voorhees, yes.
Have I been asleep for a few years? What did I miss?
You just been working too hard, brother.
At the end of Army of Darkness, waking up in the cave? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, well, you ponder that. I have one more tidbit for the news.
Okay.
And I saved this one for last because this one is the biggest news of the week for me.
Okay.
No. Well, yeah, probably that is going to be the reaction, but I'm still excited about it. You know how Quentin Tarantino was planning on doing his 10th film called The Movie Critic, which was going to bring back the character.
If this is what you posted,
Booth.
If it's what you posted, I think it's an April Fool's, to be honest.
You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that was an April Fool's. Yeah.
They did post it on April 1st.
Yes.
And I haven't seen it since.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
I've been April Fooled then.
But go ahead. So yeah.
See, you're
I didn't see it on April Fool's though. I saw it on yesterday. Yeah. And it was posted yesterday. What I saw. Well, maybe somebody shared it.
No, actually, this is.
No, God!
I think that would be brilliant.
Please,
though.
no!
If David Fincher would take on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel.
You son of a bitch!
I could see that.
Because honestly, that would be a really cool movie. But honestly, yeah, you were tricked. That has to be an April Fool's. 100%.
Well, way to end on a down note, Z.
Wait. I've got some news.
Sorry, God.
I'll bring it back up.
Oh my God.
Actually, what are you talking about, Z? It's your fault. You're the Mick Ultra drinking bitch that was going to end on a down note, but I'm here to save the day. You let somebody trick you.
God.
So, as usual, I'm here to clean up the mess. All right. I caught Kevin Bacon's new series. I watched the first 2 episodes today of The Bondsman. Surprisingly, I did not have high hopes of this at all. I kind of turned it on while I'm doing some stuff around the house, doing this before I had to run out the door. And I actually was sat down and watched 2 episodes, and it's good.
I don't believe you.
No, I liked the first. Now, I've only watched 2 episodes, and I have liked it so far.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Go ahead. I've enjoyed it so far. The plot at first, I was like, we've seen this plot 100 times, but they put a little bit of a spin on it. His mother is tied in on it, and she's kind of working with him on it. And because basically what it is, he gets killed, blah, blah. They bring him back. He's destined for hell. But if he does this and takes these demons down, the plot sounds horrible until you start watching it. But the girl that's telling him why they brought him back, his mother's sitting in the room with him. He said, "What? I raised you better than this." And everybody could see their mom sitting there with them, when you're getting judged. She's like, "I raised you better than this." She's just like, "What did you do to go to hell?" This is the whole thing. What did you do to go to hell? You got to tell me. So he's getting like a second chance, but he's got to take these demons and kill them. And it's actually, I've liked it. The 2 episodes I've watched, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon is doing a pretty damn good job in it.
Kevin Bacon's not that bad of an actor, though.
No,
you got to give him a little more
credit.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've liked a lot of Bacon's roles.
I like Bacon.
I like
well.
Bacon. I like Bacon
really
with eggs.
I tell you what, I can't compare it to another role he's done. He's playing a Dog the Bounty Hunter without the long hair, and he's a bondsman. He's playing this character, and he is hitting it to a T. And I'm 2 episodes deep, but this is what I'm seeing. I really like it, and I'm ready to watch another episode.
The guy's in his mid-60s now. I mean, come on. How much longer can he play the action star? He's not Stallone.
Dude, when you watch him in this, you won't think he's in his 60s.
Do they have a line like, "Hey, you didn't catch the guy. What are we going to do?" And he goes, "We're going to have a dance. A dance."
Oh, no, he's highly motivated because if he doesn't catch the demons, he's going to hell.
Hey, what's this I see?
Yeah.
I thought we were catching fugitives. Let's dance.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Kevin Bacon films, and this is one that it caught me off guard because I was expecting to walk into it. It's kind of one I was expecting. What's Kevin Bacon going to do next?
What was his first film?
Friday the
Animal
13th.
House.
Ding! Yes, Cody. Yes.
That's what I was just about to ask. What you were talking about whenever he's sitting in the room being judged, and his mother's sitting. What did you do to get sent to hell? And then they just throw it in that cut scene of him getting paddled at the fraternity by the other dudes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Have another. Yep. Yeah. There's nothing to say here. Stay calm. Yeah. Yeah. So Animal House was his first one. He said it was a horrible experience too because they kept the fraternities separated in real life too. So they didn't get to hang out with each other. They tried to make it where they hated each other in real life too. So they would blend on camera. Yeah.
Keep them in character.
Yeah.
He said he was such a character actor and got so into the role that
Bum.
No.
They shit themselves?
No, Saturday Night Live. I totally ruined the joke. I totally ruined the joke because I'm drawing a blank. Dan Aykroyd and the other Blues Brother from Saturday Night Live.
John Belushi.
Why can't I think? Huh?
John Belushi.
John Belushi. He got so into character that he killed John Belushi.
Yeah, you did.
Hating the other fraternity. Never mind, I ruined it. Cody ruins everything.
Damn, that was a tornado.
Oh God.
Woo.
Yeah, you're right. Well, that's all I got for the news. I hope all Trav has for the news because I need to go to bed.
That's all I got.
I would like to, though, on a more serious note, dedicate this episode, the shit show of an episode, to me and Trav's good buddy that we grew up, Boom Boom. You've heard of us talk about him on the show a lot. To his mom, they just sent her home a couple of days ago on hospice. Me and Trav went and saw her this afternoon on the way home. She was like a surrogate mother to our group growing up.
I called her mama.
Far too young to be going through that. But you know, our hearts go out to the family, and you know, what more can you say?
That's bad.
I'm ending on a down note.
Yeah, I just had friend of the family up here that passed away. that was like one of the neighborhood moms growing up. Her husband was my little league coach. We won city championships with, and grew up with her family, and she just passed away too. So yeah, but
Well,
yeah, it sucks.
it's not the end. They get to meet the tall man.
Yeah, and hey, it happens. We get older, it's going to happen.
See, I wished I'd known you was going to do this, Cody, because I would have had him add into that the tall man on that one where Mike tries to hang himself. We would have cut the tall man into there and been like, "You think when you die you go to heaven? You come to me,
Come to us." Yeah.
Yes. Hey, and also before we go, we're getting towards the end here, but we still have this Indiegogo going for our friends.
We got to do our plugs.
I have
Ken and
contributed. I hope everybody else has.
Yes, and if you scan that QR code, it'll take you right to the Indiegogo page. There's still some perks left.
Yes.
So definitely check it out. Help them out. Like I said, they can make a great movie, like Grandpa says, with $1 and a pack of Tic Tacs, but just imagine what they can make with whatever you can help them with and the pack of Tic Tacs. So definitely, they're great people. We're honored to have them involved in our Vortex family. So
Filming
please,
permits.
please help
We don't
them
need
out.
no stinking filming permits.
Exactly. Yes.
It's kind of like the movie we just reviewed. I mean, they do all theirs guerrilla style too. They don't get permits. They just
and
go out
who
and film.
knows? Return to Death Park could be the next big one. Hey, Death Bitch won him an award.
It could be
This
the first
be the big
filming
one.
permit.
Yeah. This could be the one that Ken gets arrested in the park because the cops actually think he's killing someone for real. This could be the one, And seriously,
cool.
help these people out because I'm telling you, Ken and Mary are two of the nicest people you could ever know.
Yep.
Hands down. They are terrific. Yeah, seriously, just check it out. Hands down.
Yep.
Anything you want to do. You want a DVD, Blu-ray. Heck, if you want to get killed in the movie, they even have that perk. You could do that.
I am so tempted to do that.
I would love to do that, but
I really but I don't have that much cash flow, I don't think. But it's really it's not that bad. I mean, if you want to be in a movie, it's not that expensive, folks. I mean, their perks are very reasonably priced too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, you'd be helping out some terrific people. And
absolutely.
Not only that, you do that, I mean, you've got a friend for life with them. I can honestly say that about these people. They are so great. I'm honored to know them. I'm honored they're part of Vortex, and I'm honored they're my friends. Hands down. So yes. So
people,
once
we've had
again
Ken on the show several times, and
scan
don't forget
that
to check
QR
out.
code.
Don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on Vortex Network and on Rumble, and share us all. Tell your friends about us, and we'll try to keep doing this as long as we can, folks.
Yes, and we've got some great stuff coming up.
Even
with
after
Vortex.
you tell us to stop.
Yes. Tomorrow night we've got
stop.
Z's.
Just means go.
Yes. Tomorrow night, Z's Cheese right here. I'll be doing that on the radio. Saturday, we've got 2 brand new shows on Vortex AV. Okay, which is Rumble for us. Saturday morning, you've got the Vortex Time Capsule Saturday morning cartoons starting at 8 a.m. Central. It goes from 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time again. So if you want to see some good old cartoons from when you were younger, bam, there we go.
Hell yeah.
And at noon Central, 12 Central, we have the Vortex Saturday afternoon movie, which this week it will be Mad Monster Party, Rankin and Bass.
Oh,
yes.
nice.
And for anyone who's wondering, I did my research and I have a disclaimer in the front of the movie. There's no copyright on that one. It's perfectly legal to show it, and I put a disclaimer in the beginning. So yes, I did my research, and it's a great
Where's
movie.
our disclaimer?
What's our disclaimer?
Where's
we know
our
nothing.
disclaimer?
Yeah, we
Anybody
know
that
nothing.
watches our first show knows what they're getting into.
So
that's our disclaimer.
And then, of course, we got the stuff on the radio. You've got Big Murr. He actually did a really cool one as a tribute to Val. He's doing a Doors concert for classic concerts, and I've checked it out already, and it's a great concert. He did a good job on this one. You'll have the replay with Mary right after that, a replay of Ace getting livid with Ace, and then you've got Grandpa's playlist on Saturday. Sunday, typical Grandpa waking up, soothing sounds. Then you got in the evening, Tyree's Tavern, and then we start
Loving
the week
the
all over
tavern.
again. Yep. But check out
me too.
www.vortex-radio.com. The calendar is completely updated. Anything you need to know about anything Vortex for the radio, for AV, is all right there. So,
and you know, I usually watch all the shows, you know, at work when I'm working because I do the graveyard shift. And I was kind of upset because when Ken and she was coming on their shows, I didn't get to listen live because it was such a shit show at work. I was having to bounce over here and troubleshoot this machine, and I was bouncing around all night. And I was like, I didn't get to catch them live. So I'm like, that's all right. I've got it on demand. So yeah, everybody, don't forget, if you missed the show, there's an on demand section too, where you can come, and even you can catch just the audio to the Backwoods on demand too.
Which has been
scrolling. And I understand it, you know, and I understand if you don't want to watch us, you know, you don't want to look at them too. I can over here. I can kind of understand that.
But look at this. Look at that beauty right there. Look at that. Look at that Captain Steubing look. That's
but
beautiful.
you're the disco duck, and that scares everybody off. You know, that's kind of why I wore, you know, this shirt in your honor right there, you know.
And another show that is coming soon, which will feature Travis. Hopefully we can get Cody involved with this too. Another show that's coming, you're going to have a lot of us involved with Vortex. We're going to be doing a little gaming, but we're putting a little twist on it. We're going to be goofy while we're playing. So catch a little Vortex Arcade coming soon too. So stay tuned for that.
We're playing naked.
Yes, we don't wear pants when we play.
Or shirts. Except for Cody. He's got to wear pants or he won't game.
Yeah, because he's required by law.
He can't.
Well, I can't keep track of the right joystick.
Yeah, he can't run 3 joysticks at the same time.
Oh no!
We've had this same issue when we went to PlayStation 2 and it had the 2 joysticks, and it didn't work.
Yeah, he remembers the days of Atari as a joystick, and then he had his thumb on the button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all you heard. What's Cody's character doing? I don't know, but don't look behind you.
Yeah. Why is it going in a circle? So all I know is nobody wanted to hold the controller after he played. We just know that. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a little grimy.
Yeah.
A little crusty and musty.
All right, guys. We got through another show.
Yeah.
Yay.
I think I'm gonna, after Z's Cheese, I might sleep for a week. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes, and as you know, Poe Hub tonight was a replay. Poe is taking a break. So eventually I'm going to also. I just don't know when.
Yeah, folks. We all got to take a break from time to time. But we may take a break, but we're not going to quit on you.
No.
So we're like herpes. You may suppress us for a little while, but
there will be another outbreak. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
You can hide us with the cream, but we're still under the cream.
So, and the cream always rises to the top. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the old Macho Man said.
All right.
And
Cody,
with that,
all right, yeah.
Thank you all for staying with us through another shit show. And
Cody's like, I got to shut this fucker down before he goes any farther.
And tune in 2 weeks as we do our Val Kilmer tribute. We're going to talk about Tombstone and many other great Val roles.
We'll probably have hundreds of Val clips on there. So, yeah.
Yes. In fact, that is this right here we will be covering right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, are we doing that? Are we going to do that on Wednesday or Thursday, Trav?
How does your
Wednesday
schedule look?
Should be good. I won't know for another week. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday.
I'm gonna have to look at Sid's ball schedule. So
as usual,
I'll get with you guys. We'll get it worked out, and we'll post it on the group page.
Well, I can do
usual,
it Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday night if need be.
Yeah, as usual, we'll post it on Facebook. Otherwise, check out vortex-radio.com. The calendar. It'll be right on the calendar then too.
And I apologize, everybody. It's my fault that our schedule's getting all hooked up.
Bad baby. No, he's got to do what he's got to do.
He's got to
do the job. He's got to take care of his family. He does the right thing. Family first.
Yeah, the corners don't run like they used to. The times are different. So, the street corners. So, I got to do what I can with the pretty face while it's still here. So
yeah, and hopefully
my
you guys
fault.
don't get taken out by tornadoes down there because you're getting hit like we are up here in Wisconsin already.
We're protected by the meth bubble. I'm pretty sure they go around us.
Hey,
the ones that cut through are weakened.
All I know is Trav said that if a tornado's going to hit where he's at, he's going to be naked.
Yep.
So that way, if people will survive, they'll know who he was. They'll remember that there was a naked guy that got taken out. And I think God remembers this because now you've had how many tornado warnings? And I think God is trying to take him out and take him on his word.
Several.
So
Either that or he's trying to keep people from seeing me naked. I do got a lot of scars from the years, so that may be it.
So who knows? And if we get enough votes, maybe we'll keep a live cam on him, and maybe it'll be a show on Vortex. Who knows?
With enough votes, I'll podcast naked. I ain't afraid.
Trav versus the weather. That sounds like a new show.
Yeah, the weather show, the weatherman.
The good Lord didn't give me nothing to be ashamed of, but he didn't give me nothing to be proud of either. Like I've said before, you got to run what you brung. That's all you can do.
Run what you brung. And with that, folks,
send
we
us
will
out,
see
Cody.
you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Have a good night. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.